Good evening and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur, all of my fellow unbeaten Tottenham fans. And boy, does it feel good to say that. 7 games in, played 3 of last year's top 6, and we're still unbeaten. Who would have thought? Postecoglou ball is absolutely amazing. Loving life. Guys, I do apologise about the chopping and changing of times, of course. New rule invented there this evening that apparently you can't play the under-21 game at the same time a Premier League game is on. So I can't do the watch long, so now here we are doing the fan show that was originally put up for later that we have brought forward. For any of you guys that do want to come on and have your say, the channel members, the fan show members, or the elite members, the link is in the community section. Simply click on it and it will bring you into the back end. Of course, we have a lot to discuss this evening, a lot of controversy around the weekend. Honestly, I've never heard such a whingy, moany fan base in my life. The lengths that they have gone to is absolutely disgusting, to be brutally honest. And I've even heard Liverpool fans go, I don't usually complain about the referees, but this one was shocking. And I mean, of course you don't usually complain because you're always on the right side of them. The one time you're on the wrong side and they're having a meltdown and they want to cancel football, they want to replay games. Okay, well then we'll replay the Champions League from 2019. How about that? I mean, it's a farce. It's a joke, Jack. I've had enough of them. Whiny Scousers. Now everyone knows why I don't like that football club.
Yeah, it was the weekend of complaining, the weekend of moaning. It feels like Spurs have broke the space-time continuum when it comes to VAR and everything like that. It feels like any time that Spurs benefit from any sort of refereeing decision, it's almost like a diplomatic international meeting is held, immediately afterwards to fix, whatever benefited us and whatever sort of went our way, because you can't have that happen where Spurs, are the victors, based off a referee's decision. And it just seems like even United fans are singing Kumbaya with Liverpool fans and against VAR. It's quite funny to see just sort of the whole kind of, it seems like all of our enemies, all of our big rivals sort of at once, kind of united hand in hand to go against VAR and to bring up how atrocious this all was and how much we're benefiting from the referees this season. It's really quite impressive. And yeah, Dave, I would call it the weekend of complaining. That one.
I made a joke to you. Remember, I made a joke to you after the game, Jack, when we were about to do Twitter reacts. I was like, who knew Tottenham winning and being unbeaten would unite, all these rivalries in the Premier League? I mean, it's an absolute joke. But it does go to show when Tottenham are winning, everyone else will unite to make sure that does not happen. I said to Spurs fans, wear it as a badge of honor. Now, just quickly, I suppose we'll have to adjust the VAR sort of decisions, and then we'll welcome in people in the chat. Look, when it comes to VAR, as a Spurs fan, what I say to Liverpool fans, tough shit. You win some, you lose some. We've been on the receiving end for quite some time. I think the 2 sending-offs are sending-offs if you go by the letter of the law. And then, look, the disallowed goal, I mean, look, how many decisions have they been on the right side of? But you can't have a ball in the build-up to a goal, but yet Mo Salah got away with it against us. Sissoko, it hits his underneath there first, then ricochets onto his arm in Champions League final. They get a penalty for it. The high foot to Skip's head got away with it. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And I'm sick of them. And as a Spurs fan, I'm taking it all day long. We've been on the receiving end of so many bad decisions down the years. We can even go back to Lasagna Gate where the Premier League wouldn't let us replay a game, all this sort of stuff. I mean, I don't know what they're crying about. But look, as a football fan, I've been saying it for months now. VAR is not fit for purpose. It's left back to human interpretation anyway. The rules are so complicated. In my opinion, I think the system is corrupt. I've been saying that for quite some time now. And I'm just fed up with it all. But as a Tottenham fan, I'm taking them all day long, and I do not care.
I just want a bit of fairness, Dave, where even if Liverpool fans feel, very wronged and, feel very unlucky, it's just, if this had happened to Spurs, there only would have been 10 minutes of coverage of it, really. It would have been maybe having one, maybe media sort of maybe section for it of maybe the wrong decisions, in the game, but it would not have blown up in this sort of manner if it had happened to us. But because I think it happened to one of the Premier League darlings like Liverpool, it's now just going to be, sort of the talking points for the rest of the weeks and months, coming ahead. But if that happened to us, I feel like we've had even similar things happen to us in the past, and yet it seemed like it only was a discussion for maybe a day or not even a day, less than 24 hours. So that's how I sort of see it. And also, everybody, just quickly, please, give your thoughts and, sort of your love to Dave, because you wanted to watch the under 21s today. I think he was already enjoying the Liverpool tears and Klopp's tears. And I think he had a nice cold glass of them that he was going to be drinking alongside, a nice sort of display of the under 21s as they take on Chelsea. I hope that they're in fine form, and I hope that they're, playing well. But 1-1 at the moment. So it's a very good game. And just, give your thoughts and everything to Dave, because I know he's a very passionate under 21 enthusiast, and he's kind of our man for it right now. It's the thing that he's been doing a very good job on and trying to keep up with, and they're denying him access. They're denying him any opportunity to get any glimpses of it. So please, everybody, get your thoughts in on that one. But yeah, Dave, I think we should get to the chat here and see what everybody has to say. If you could do us a favor, please, everybody, smash that like button. Keep getting your comments in down below. We're going to get to all of you, say hello to each of you, but we already have plenty in the back room, plenty that do want to have their say this evening. So if you do want to skip the queue, feel free to do so and throw in a super chat. It's a great way to get your discussion and your opinions heard. But also, if you want to come on and have your say, do it right now, because we already have a nice little queue going, everybody. But let's see what people have to say this evening. We have Iceman in the house. Good evening, fellas. Best Tottenham fan channel on YouTube. Love you fellas' content. Hashtag Dave for Chirpy. Hashtag Jack Cocktails and VAR is working perfectly. Dave and Jack, we got 3 points. Yeah, maybe now it's fixed. Now that it's coming in our direction, Iceman. Really do appreciate your support though over these last few months, and just in general, man. You've been absolutely top. Nathan Rowland saying, big up lads, beautiful end of the 2 tough games we had. Not bad for the fact that we was getting smashed by both. Love it. Big up yourselves. Very good point there, Nathan. These used to be very unlucky fixtures for us, and ones that we usually didn't show up in. Tottenham LSG saying, what? No under 21 launch along? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, my man. I feel it. You got to just throw out your thoughts for Dave here. He's very frustrated, and I don't want to get him, I think he's basically, Twitter is going to be feeling the wrath of Dave, I think, tonight, when it comes to the Spurs play and everything. But smash that like button. Still though, Tottenham LSG, if you still enjoy these fan shows. Big up Jason Bell. Realistic title contenders, not now, but ask again after Christmas. Will do, Jason. I'll remind myself to ask you after Christmas. Welsh Gal says, greetings, Dave and Jack and the Harris Army. Wore my Spurs shirt to work, and I was the one given the stick. Loved it. Thanks, Big Ange and the mighty Spurs. Exciting times. Yeah, for once the roles have changed. Welsh Gal, you're able to now give the stick to everybody else. You can relax the shoulders and walk in proudly, walk in confident. That's great to hear. And hopefully the IPAs were flowing this weekend. Steve D's in here as well, saying, hi everyone, Liverpool fans forgetting Jota kicking Skip in the face. Then he went on to score the winner. Yes, it's a terrible call, but stop making out it's never happened to anyone else. Exactly my point, Steve D. Exactly my point. Yeah, Dave.
Look, if a Liverpool fan asks, every decision was right. That's all I'm saying. Don't give them an inch. Do not give it to them. If they ask, you double down and find a reason why it's right. Make them suffer. That's what I'm doing, because for too long, they've made us suffer, and now they're making everyone else suffer now with all the stuff, all this extra stuff. I mean, what other fan base goes in to find where the referee was 2 days beforehand? I mean, it's an absolute joke. What if he was doing his laundry? I'm absolutely had enough of it. If they ask, double down on it and gloat to the fuckers.
Start making up some camera angles, do whatever you need, to back your points. Yeah, absolutely love that.
That's where I'm at with it.
Okay, 32. Good to see you saying, not a hope title contenders, but hope top 4. Hopefully, like to hear it. DB saying, who'd have thought that Liverpool are playing the victim card? Yeah, I love John Stokes meme earlier this morning. The victim MasterCard. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Spurs GCTV evening, guys. Fulham versus Chelsea. Now I predict 5 red cards and 3 disallowed goals. I predict a lot of sitters missed is what I predict. That none of them and then that team could probably hit the back of the net. King Hoddle saying, good evening. I'm luxuriating in a warm, soothing bath of Scouse tears. Someone pass me the soap. Dave, I think, like I said earlier, I think you put yours in a nice cold glass with some ice cubes. You decide to freeze yours, to preserve them, right? You wanted to freeze them, but King Hoddle's just going to heat them up, nice vapors of, of Scouse tears tonight. He's in a nice luxuriating bath. Love to hear it.
Absolutely love it. Hopefully you've got the rubber duckies, the big back scratcher smelling some nice rose red petals in honor of Liverpool, my man.
clap duckies in the tub. Robbie Keane saying maybe not this year as title winners, but give Big Ange time. I believe in this young squad and potential future leadership from Romero and Van de Ven. This squad will challenge for the title in probably 2 to 3 years. Good to hear that, Robbie Keane. J Mac saying big up Dave and Jack in the evening. Big up to you, J Mac. Hopefully you're keeping well. Terry Batts saying Liverpool get lost. I'd like to hear it, Terry. You tell them where to go. Dark Sun G saying Liverpool are crying when VAR doesn't help them for once. Laugh my ass off. Also, they are trying to appeal the Jones red card, which is a joke. That tackle is similar to Pogba's against Keita, which is them being a huge hypocrite. What I would say, Dark Sun G, is well, Curtis Jones, I just felt like he was asking for it. Whether you even, I think he was going to get sent off at some stage, or he was already kind of in bad waters with the ref, because he had done on 2 occasions where he had just sort of done these. I mean, Dave, I think they're lazy, and I think they can be considered a yellow card at times. Remember those jersey pulls and those kind of kit pulls that he kept doing, where he would get beat by Basuma or he got beat by Madison, and then he just, instead of really making a challenge, he just kind of pulled the guy's shorts, or he just kept pulling the guy's jersey just to stop the play, to break us, to stop us from actually leading an attack. And the referee, saw him do this, on 2 occasions, like within 15 minutes. So it's like you're already in his head, you're already kind of, making him think about it. And the referee was straight away on that call, like a very firm yellow. And you could tell that he was saying something to him about it as well. So he already in his head on field saw it, you could tell, as a bad challenge. I think the referee, whether you like it or not, Liverpool fans, the referee seemed to already have in his head that was a pretty bad challenge. And then they told him that it was an even worse challenge than maybe he might have already thought, looked at it, and then went to the red. It didn't look like there was actually much convincing or anything. Like, he did look like he was already pretty well aware that was a nasty challenge, and then he got the incentive to make it an extra card. But I just want to say, like, I feel like the referee already was well aware that Curtis Jones was kind of in the naughty books, at least in my opinion, Dave.
Look, moments like that just sort of make me cherish someone like Cristiano Romero even more, who can smash someone within the legalities of the game. I mean, it's actually a fine art at this moment in time. But look, Jack, I mean, when it comes to the red card, right, I'm one of these. Look, I think personally it's harsh, but at the end of the day, he's over the top of the ball, standing legs, studs up. I mean, maybe you should just learn to tackle more, tackle better, in my opinion, or learn to get control of the ball. But look, one thing no one's talking about is, they can sit there and moan about it, but why aren't they asking questions of why Jota was chasing Adoji twice when he gave away the yellow card? Because Adoji had the better of him. He was better than him. He's running away from him. Liverpool were chasing shadows. That's why they got them red cards. They were chasing our shadows. That's why they were pulling us down at every opportunity. It was a clear tactic that Klopp employed. Don't let Tottenham get on the counter-attack. Pull it down. Well, they got 2 red cards as a result of the tactic. So instead of moaning at Pogmole, instead of asking for an apology, by the way, the only club that gets an apology, question Klopp's tactics. He went from Jurgen Klappy to Jurgen Stroppy. And I had Jurgen Strudel that night. It was absolutely delicious. But I'm just... One thing that I think benefits us actually coming out of this is that VAR actually overshadows, again, how good Tottenham were. Look, we struggled, we struggled to break them down, but we've struggled to break teams down that sit low block for years. It's nothing new, but on the face of it, we pushed Liverpool back. We done everything we had to do. And the reason why they got red cards is because they were in a battle which they weren't in years gone by, and they couldn't handle it. They couldn't accept it. And they chose to show petulance instead of their football. That's on them. They've only got themselves to blame. So I'm sick of them crying. Look at their own game, look at their performance, and look at their tactics rather than blame everyone else.
Question for you, though, Dark Sunji, and sort of kind of the rest of the chat here. I'm curious, right? Like, are we worried about maybe us now not getting any decisions for the rest of the season? So, like, it could happen with, like, the Romero incident. Remember with the Romero incident, all of a sudden, everybody was very keen on giving Romero yellow cards and, seeing him as the bad boy, all that sort of stuff. Like, just question for the chat. Question for you, Dark Sunji. Like, did we use all of our good luck in one game?
We didn't have any anyway. We weren't getting any anyway up until this game. So, I mean, it's just going back to normality, Jack.
Maybe so. Like, what good luck did we even have to begin with? Yeah, maybe we'll just resume back to normal. We'll just go back to normal with the referees. Big up, Dark Sunji. Really appreciate you and your support, my friend. King Dom is in the house saying this season is the best shot for winning the league. If in contention in January, no Mickey Mouse Cup, no Europe, and no FA Cup. Oops, too soon, King Dom. I don't think it's too soon, my friend. I mean, it's good. That's why we're asking you. That's why we're asking you. I appreciate the bravery. Rick C saying Liverpool fans are embarrassing. Couldn't agree more, Rick. Kuba 99 saying big up Jack and David and all in the chat. I'm still smiling. Hard not to. I bet the cheeks are hurting, Kuba. Sean Maddox says Spurs got a decision clearly. End of the world. Yeah, I mean, everybody has to stop time, quit your jobs. Everybody has to make sure that Liverpool are justified and that they get, their apologies and et cetera. It's just, I don't know. It's just the whole world just ends up stopping. Dark Sun G says, I love how Cootie's response to, or I love Cootie's response to McAllister's comment. Yeah, llorar a casa, or I think something like that. Yeah, go home and cry. I mean, absolutely brilliant. And McAllister, he seemed pretty upset after the game, and Romero was quick to remind him, probably that he shouldn't pipe up, and he's also clearly the big dog, Romero, now with that captaincy. Now he's shit housing people on Instagram. Dark Sun G, it's great to see. Love to see it.
I love it. And this is why I love the man. He's rootless.
I think, King Dom, it was llorar a casa or something like that. Go home and cry. Sebas Wolf says, F Liverpool. Good to see you this evening, Sebas. Hopefully you're keeping well, my friend, and as well, everybody. Sebas is an absolutely top man, and I got to hang out with him yesterday. He and I were just chatting up Spurs, chatting up the season, got to get to know him better. So, Sebas Wolf, good to see you in the house, my friend. Hopefully you're keeping well at work. Joseph Tyler says, big up Irish Hotspur. Hope you lads are both well. Much I agree with Liverpool. Goal should have stood, but let's be honest, the way they go on is like the only club has gone through it. Exactly right, Joseph. I think you're bang on with that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it not Son that got a goal disallowed against Liverpool or Kane, and it was like marginally offside? It actually looked more onside than it was offside. So I mean, again, you win some, lose some. I don't hear them asking for reviews on them ones. So stop crying.
Yeah, stop crying, please. And we have Forth Below in the house. Good to see you, Forth Below, as well as Ren is in here. Good to see you, Ren. Hopefully you're keeping well. THFC till I die. VAR needs to go now. Dave, do you feel like we need to go back to the days of just simple referees, let the mistakes happen, let them make their own errors, back to the laws of nature, back to what it used to be?
I felt like they were less of a talking point every weekend or highlight, a lot less for sure. Look, Jack, my feelings on it. I've been saying it for a long, long time now. That I don't want VAR in the game. Even at the time where people were saying, oh, it's not the technology, it's the people. I was even saying still back then, I was like, look, I just don't like it. It kills the game, in my opinion. Yes, you get some decisions and stuff like that maybe are correct or missed in the heat of the battle. But for me, I think it's not fit for purpose, and I don't think you can ever implement it properly when all the rules are so varied. It's absolutely a joke for me. I'd rather it go back to human error, but at the same time, a lot of these big clubs are the reason why it's here, right? I think it wasn't there a decision not given to Charlie Austin for Southampton or something like that. And it ended up costing them something. And then there was a big, massive outcry about it. And then some of the big teams are moaning that they weren't getting decisions in games like that, and it was costing them league titles and everything else. So sometimes you sort of, you're getting what you asked for. So stop crying.
I love with every good point that you make, you just then end it with stop crying like afterwards. I absolutely love it. Dark Sun G says Liverpool manager, Liverpool manager, family players manager, all shameful. Klopp always finding a way to complain. The players, the manager, I don't know. It's just all the behavior from all of them has just been poor. And even post, game, it's just all been bad. Dark Sun G. Not really been very classy, let's say. Not their classiest 24 hours, not their finest 24 hours, I must say, for the club, my man. But I hope your outlet's all right. Hopefully he's finding a way to recover. Dark Sun G. Maybe did you torment him too much? Is he recovering? Let me know, man. Rick and because you also had the whole weekend. It wasn't even a Sunday match, right? You had Sunday to torture him. Rick and Rio saying, "Hey guys, big up. Was at the game Saturday. Angmosphere was incredible. Most amazing football experience in 40 years. Rick, I'm very jealous, my man. I'm very jealous. Thanks for telling us about it. James Eve, paratrooper, saying, I think the apocalypse just happened. VAR has gone against the football saints. Liverpool, these are dark times. We need heavenly intervention to set things right. Liverpool lives matter. Oh, my Lord, what a comment. Great job, James. Georgia Hill saying, big up, lads. Our lack of depth will hurt us in the long run. Top four is very possible, but too soon for title talks. VAR has gotten worse over time, but this week, I only adore VAR. Come on, you sirs. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Black Cap Army. Love it, George. And also, thank you so much for answering all the questions. as well,
Yeah.
so succinctly. Big up to my man. Dark Sun G
Big up.
saying Liverpool crying because their annual 3 points have been gone. Yeah, Dave, the 3 points that they relied upon, they were always gifted to them either from the referee or from VAR or from ourselves. We used to make, pretty big mistakes, miss sitters, just kind of end up just sort of giving them the game, and they would usually take it from us. But now they handed us the 3 points, Dark Sun G and Dave, and feels great, right? They handed us the 3 points.
Yeah, handed it to us for once. Let's see what the mentality monsters. That's another thing, actually, right? It's supposed to be mentality monsters. They can't even last the whole length of the game. Look, Jack, for me, they're used to rolling us over. They're used to it to being an easy game. They didn't like what happened, the fact that they were caught in a battle. The 3 points is ours. Now they're going to have to pick up them 3 points elsewhere to try and catch Man City. And it's just a momentum killer. Let's face it, we killed our momentum. Now they have to pick it all back up over again and build up a head of steam again. So long may it continue. But look, this is what we do. We're the party spoilers this year, and I'm enjoying it. First, we done it to United. We sent Ten Hag on a spiral. Then Mikel Arteta. Now Jurgen Klopp. He's probably just raging because he won't get the bonus to go and get his teeth whitened.
Yeah, he's finding, probably the nearest place where he can just have, nice, good teeth whitening just to take his mind off of things. Warrior without a master, good to see you in the house. Liverpool fans are weak crybabies. That's just been kind of a weekend of crybaby. Not even just Liverpool fans. Like, honestly, Mark Goldbridge to people on Talk Sport. It's just been kind of a weekend of moaning and crying. Jajit Rawat, good to see you, both of you. Love from India. Absolute legend. Big up to all of our Spurs fans out in India. Big up to my man. We also have Gene D saying title charge. He's gone for a title charge. Big up, Gene D. Jayco saying my heart says we are, but my head tells me we are a year away. Both could be right answers, Jay. I think you're kind of in the right place with both. You go with either one. your choice. Dark Sun G says, my hate for red, or my hatred is Liverpool. 6-4 Gooners after the VAR tantrum. Maybe I'm not reading this correctly.
I think he means basically his hatred for Liverpool is maybe more or just as equal as it is for Arsenal after the VAR tantrum. 100%.
Yeah. And also the way they kind of went about themselves, kind of acting like that it's the only team that it's ever happened to, like this is the worst it's ever been, right? All those sort of lines, Dark Sun G, I think did infuriate Spurs fans a lot, because I think we were happy to sympathize with them a little bit, because we knew that they definitely didn't get the decisions that they probably deserved in some cases. But the way they did act like it's just some injustice that's never happened to any team before in this sort of manner, I think really did say sort of a lot about just their tone deafness, just not really acknowledging, the rest of the Premier League. It's just, I think that's what's probably, it almost angered fans even more, probably, is what I would say. Big up, Dark Sun G. You're right.
Look, they don't have as many revenue streams as Tottenham, so these clubs' brown envelope package can't be as big as ours anymore. So at least our revenue streams are coming into play. The brown envelope's bigger than what all these other clubs can offer now.
Good to see you, Davey Hall. Hopefully you're keeping well, member of the David Army. DB's in the house as well. BBC breaking Liverpool, asking for audio. Why? Game is over. Are they the first team to be hard done by? No, but they think they are, DB. They certainly think they are. James Watkins is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Jazzy Jones is in here. Big up, Dave and Jack and people in the chat. Thank you very much, Jazzy Jones, for joining us. Making sure I'm not missing anybody before we get started here. Kyle Patrick Vinyard, member for 8 months. Sonaldo owns Arsenal and Liverpool, 2 VARs teams. And Sonaldo doesn't care. He'll score against anybody. He doesn't care, Dave.
Sorry, 1 second, Jack. I got something in my...
I
got something in my... No, look, I'll be back in 1 second, Jack. I just continue.
Take care of yourself, Dave. You don't need to push yourself. You take care of yourself. KPV, thank you for your support for the 8 months, my man. Sonaldo, he's been terrific this season. I think he's best through the middle personally, and it looks like he's also been battling an injury at the moment as well. So he might not even be seeing the best version of himself. That's an interesting thought. We've been seeing him being played, in a different position than he was last season. He's thriving in it, but he's not even actually in his full fitness. He's not even at his best self, which is just great thing to think about. Big up to you. Good to see you, Mick Hermelach. Hopefully you're keeping well, as well as Jim, just a guy who loves Spurs. Good to see you, Jim. Hopefully you're all right, my friend. As well as Terry Betts. Happy birthday, Terry Betts. Happy birthday to you, my friend. We also have, just making sure I'm not missing anybody. Doesn't look like I think we have Aura Shem as well and Longi in here. We're going to get to the first guest of the evening. The first guest we have is the one and only. I've already forgotten. I think it's the Dermotron. Yes, the Dermotron's going to get us started. Everybody, if you could smash that like button for us, keep getting in your comments. If you do, again, want to interrupt the show and, have your sort of opinions or your sort of kind of questions or thoughts, discussed straight away by either us or the guest that we have on, feel free to throw it in as a super chat, and we're going to keep getting your comments up on screen. But let's see what Dermotron has to say. And it's also a big queue at the moment. So please, everybody, if you do want to come on and have your say, feel free to do so, but do it quickly because there is a queue.
Just quickly, happy birthday, Terry, as well. Big up, my man. And sorry about doing my best Liverpool fan impression. I'm sorry about that. But look, let's keep moving. Let's get on the Tron. Let's hear what he has to say.
You recovered a lot faster than the Liverpool fans did. That's for sure. Big up, Paul Brown.
To be in their shoes for a minute.
Big up, Paul Brown. Hopefully you're all right, my man. And let's bring in the Tron. There he is. How are you, sir?
I'm just laughing at Dave pretending to be a scouser for about 5 minutes. I tell you one thing, you took it perfectly. I really thought you were a scouser there, Dave, for a minute, a Liverpool fan there.
Not the best very realistic. Not the best impression, I think, Dermot, because he would have probably had to have left for the whole stream. He would have probably had to take the whole week off, if it really was a real impression.
Well, Jack, I would have had to put a tracker on the referee's, shoes, find out he was across the world 3 days ago. So. I mean,
maybe so.
Finding the wheels to the bus. That's what they were trying to find Saturday evening. That's what Klopp was crying for more too. It took him 2 hours to leave Tottenham. And they only got down the M1 and found out they had one of the wheels missing. So there you go. The story of a Liverpool fan.
Can we learn anything from that? Can we learn anything from that game, Dermo? That's sort of the question, right? Was it sort of ruined by the red card? Was it ruined by some of the decisions? Is there anything really to take from it?
I think our determination not to give up, keep going. Look, we know we can't play low block teams down. It's been a story, it's been for years. So that's nothing new, as Dave said already. But look, for me, I think our determination to keep going, not to give up. I think that was the biggest one. I've just read that, by the way.
That's great.
It's a good one. I think also... that's all I can. I think the VAR has overtaken it, which is I think this conversation has to have. VAR is not good for the game. It doesn't work in football. It never will work in football. It's too fast. It's not quick enough, and from VAR getting involved to the decision is made, it's far too long. So we ended up in 100-minute games. You look at rugby. You look at TMO in rugby, done within 30, 40 seconds. You look at other sports, it's done very quickly.
In rugby, don't they stop the clock while that's going on? Some of it they do while it's in play, but they do stop the clock.
Yeah, I've been saying that to Philip. Could that work in football? Could we stop the clock in football and follow rugby's lead? Now, it probably wouldn't work. But VAR is not suited. Football is always had years and years of mistakes going through it, or referees making mistakes. We're trying to make the game too perfect, where it shouldn't be too perfect. Mistakes will always happen. It's human nature to make mistakes. I just think VAR for me needs to go. It should be kept there for goal line technology and maybe the odd penalty, but that's it. The referees are using it to hide behind, and this is the problem now.
Just 2 questions off the back of that, Dermo. The first one is, how do we have a conversation about it when the people that do talk about it are usually on the wrong end of it and get fined for speaking out bad about the referees, i.e. managers or a player, or like, for instance, Jermaine Genius came out at the weekend, and he was made to apologize and stuff like that. So how do we have an open, frank, honest conversation about VAR? And second of all, will it ever work in football? Because yes, it works in rugby, and yes, it works in cricket and that, but they're complete different crowds to a football crowd.
I know that.
Their fan base, they sit back, they sort of enjoy it a lot more. Football fans are a bit more raucous. They like the way it's full on action, constantly in play and stuff like that. And I just think with VAR, it slows the game down. So will it ever actually work in football?
Look, Dave, you know my opinion on this. I've never wanted VAR. I've been like you from the very start. I've been dead against this. Look, your first point about having an honest conversation about it, Jermaine Genius has every right to say what he says on VAR. Everyone has their right to have their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have an honest, open discussion about it. Everyone's opinions have to be taken into account. You can't just say, you can't shut Jermaine Genius down because he's made an opinion, which was correct, by the way. And then, or have somebody from Liverpool saying, oh, I tell you what, though, I want the game replayed. That's not having the conversation. That's just you moaning, and you're not allowing that person to have his honest opinion, which was the right thing to say. The second thing is the game is too fast. I think it does slow the game down, and I think VAR is so open for corruption. It's not policed properly. And the third thing on it as well, what the World Cup, they used a computer version of VAR to do the offsides by the computer. It worked brilliantly in the World Cup. No problems with it whatsoever. It's used, I think, in some of the leagues around Europe. Comes to us, oh, no, we don't want to use it. A, it's going to cost too much money, and B, the big clubs don't want it used. So when you're trying to help yourself to make it a more foolproof system, to help the referee, who will make mistakes. Referees do make mistakes, and it's there to help him. We're not giving him the tools to do the job correctly.
But it can never be implemented properly in football, though, in the first place, Dermo, because with rugby, right, because of the way the game is, usually by the time the on-field people, or while the game's going on, the ball's probably just moved 5 yards to the right-hand side.
Yeah,
so when they blow it up, when they blow up and make that decision, they can pull it back, and no one really gets irritated about it because, you know, the ball hasn't actually moved that far. But in football, that 30 seconds, the ball could be in the back of the net up the other end, and they can't pull it back. So I'm not actually sure it can ever fully be implemented into the game of football, because the way it is now, you look at it, every decision they have to stop for. So it's not like rugby. They can't use it in play the way rugby do.
But they used a system in the World Cup where it took it out of human hands, put it into the computer hands, and them decisions were offside decisions.
Was that not the offside, though? That's different to the whole VAR, though. That's just offside alone.
Yeah, but that was a system that was successfully used, that was offered to the Premier League for the start of this season, and they refused to turn it down. Now,
that's a different thing altogether, though.
It is, but it should be anything that helps to improve the system or improves the game, we should be looking at. If you don't look at it, then you're just going round in circles. As Philip says, VAR is a great thing, but it's been run by monkeys, which is true.
I disagree. I think VAR kills the game completely. I think they're trying to use something from other sports, slower sports, where you can pull things back and use it in a quicker sport, where you pull it back, there could be a goal or another controversial decision within that 30 seconds. I don't think you can ever fully implement it, Jack.
Do you think they're using it for too much interpretable things, Dave, where it's like it's just one's opinion really versus another's opinion, one's interpretation of something versus another interpretation? It seems like where VAR usually gets it most wrong is when it has to do with something that's more debatable than it is with something that is sort of the whole clear and obvious. And it's almost like where it's probably put itself in its own, VAR has almost put itself in its own kind of grave, where they started saying stuff like that, clear and obvious, human error, you know, all these sort of things, because then it's just sort of led us to, you know, use their terminology against them. And I think that's what's also been kind of happening here, is that they kind of been twisted up in loops, you know, plenty of times.
And the thing is, look, all these things even themselves out at the end of a season. It's a long season, so by the law of averages, it should even itself all out. But if you look at what Champions League final, we got robbed. Penalty, shouldn't have been a penalty. You look at Wolves at the start of this season, should have had a penalty in Manchester United, wasn't given. You look at the game yesterday, I forget, was it Forest that should have had, Brentford should have had a player sent off? I can't remember off the top of my head. Again, another VAR mistake. These points that teams don't get could be very detrimental to them at the end of the season. Wolves could go down by 1 point. We can miss out and say the league or the Champions League by a point if we don't get that VAR decision. This is where it is wrong.
Let me ask you a question then on that, Dermo, just quickly, my man, because what's the difference between VAR getting it wrong and costing someone a point, or the official without VAR getting it wrong and costing someone a point? So therefore, it's you know, if it's not, so therefore, I'd argue it's not actually improving the game. Then
no,
right?
It's more obvious with VAR, because VAR it's more obvious with a referee. Sometimes it isn't as obvious as it would be with VAR. VAR, as soon as that game was over, put out a statement. We apologise. We made a mistake. Well, I'd love to know what them guys were doing up in the VAR room. Look, I'm glad it didn't go. No, I'm glad it didn't go.
You know.
They're probably tying each other down in the chairs now. You know what I like a bit time, but you didn't know what I mean. I've got no problem. Look, I'm happy we got the result. Don't get me wrong. I'm over the moon. We've beaten Liverpool. Absolutely fantastic. Great. Unbeaten start since 2016-17 season. On long may it continue. But as a football fan, this is ruining my sport. It doesn't work. It never will work. So if it doesn't work, you get rid of it. You go back to how football was. Okay, no referee's perfect. Everyone will make mistakes. But if you're going to use the system, make sure you use it properly, but don't hide behind that system. That's what referees are doing. They're hiding behind the system. And it doesn't work. And it shouldn't. And we're in a technology age where something like this should work, but it doesn't. But look, it's Liverpool. Who cares?
So then, Dermot, after this sort of win, maybe this is my last question for you. Our next 5 fixtures: Luton away, Fulham at home, Palace away, Chelsea at home, Wolves away. Do you feel like we need to say, I mean, how many points are we getting? You know, how serious should Spurs, take on those next 5 games?
Look, I think we could quite comfortably probably win 4 of them and draw 1. I am really confident we can. I think we could. Look, I said to Philip the other day, I think we could match the 60-61 unbeaten start to the season with the run of fixtures we got. The other one that worries me is Chelsea. But I think we can beat Chelsea. I think Chelsea in disarray. But we should be beating teams like Crystal Palace, Luton, etc. So I reckon, look, what's
13 points out of 15, you think, basically?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All righty, Dermotron. Dave, would you agree with him?
So.
Yeah, sorry, Dermot. Sorry.
Yeah. I do think so, because we should be, these are teams we should be beating. And we are in the title race. I know people think I'm deluded and off my tree on something. I'm not the full Euro. Lost a few shillings along the way. I've been around long enough to know we are in a title fight, and I will stand by that. We're up there, only a point behind Man City. We were all moaning last season or the season before. We're not this. We're crap. We're playing poorly. Now look at us. Let's get a bit deluded. Let's follow Angie's message. Let's just.
He's giving you the green light.
Giving us the green light. Let's go for it.
I'm on that.
Nice one, Dermot.
I'm on that. Great call in, Dermot, my man. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me over at THFC Till I Die. Tonight, we've got the Cockerel Clock podcast, Premier League review, plus a bit about VAR. Apparently, Philip is raring to go and rip VAR and Liverpool apart. So, any Liverpool fans, don't be watching. So, I'd be trying to keep them reined in. And then we're doing normal stuff all week, post-match, get ready for Luton game. And then on Sunday, we're starting our F1 channel, which gets its debut. So we're sort of growing our brand.
Will you be wearing a stick suit?
Now, I have said to Jack, that is coming, Dave. I've got a surprise for you in the next month. That will be coming. A surprise on this channel will be coming. So don't worry.
Yeah, no, a full stick suit. That's what I want to see. But Dermo, big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate the call in. We'll speak to you again soon, brother.
Yeah, and thanks to you, lads. And please like and subscribe up to these 2 lads, proper gentlemen, and also the inspiration why I got into YouTube. So thank you, lads, very much.
Thanks for getting us started, Dermotron. Great call.
Take care.
See you, Tron.
See you later.
See you, Tron.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See you, my man. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Great call in from Dermo. Great chat about the VAR. Everyone, come on, let's talk about VAR today. I want to get rid of it. But look, Jacko, let's go.
We'll break it tonight. We're getting rid of it tonight. Dark Sunji says 5 new people help broke 3 curses for us. Man United and Liverpool at home and Gooners away. Madison, Van de Ven, Udogi, Vicario, and Ange, who also broke the Manager of the Month award curse. That he certainly did. And he also helped us break this Liverpool curse. But Van de Ven, you could say, had some of his best performances in a Spurs shirt, both in the North London Derby and in this Liverpool game. He really did have spectacular performance. Madison's just been great for us this season. I think Sonny, though, I mean, I know he's not, I guess you said new people, right? So I guess you have to say he's not exactly a new player. But you're right, Dark Sun G. Vicario, I think his presence, his sort of mentality has been terrific for us and has really reinvigorated that back line. And Dave is absolutely in love with Udogie, and I think he's just in love with the guy's maturity. When he picks up a yellow card, he's still in the game, and he's not, making any unnecessary challenges. He's not pulling a Curtis Jones or pulling a Jota. He knows what he's doing. He has some discipline. He has some class and some composure. But right, Dave? I mean, three curses broken this season.
No, look, 100%, and it comes down to the improvement across the back line. You look at the goals, right? We were always scoring goals in these sort of games. Son has stepped in to replace what Game is doing. But with the likes of Vicario, with the likes of Udogie, with the likes of the Van de Ven, they're stepping in and doing something that other people weren't actually doing or weren't adding to the team. And that's why we're in these games, because we're able to limit teams' chances or the quality of their chances in these games, whereas years gone by, we couldn't do that. So that's the biggest improvement. I think Dark Zone G is absolutely spot on and has hit the nail on the head as well. With Maddison coming in, he gives us a bit of a different dimension, that threat from deep, it's that threat from long range as well. So he's absolutely spot on with the new players coming in. We're now seeing the benefits, and that's something I've always argued, Jack. I was out there for 3 years arguing about it. Just get rid of the shit, get rid of the old, the tired, the crap, weak leadership. Get rid of it, bring in the new guys. We'll see a difference, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. Dark Sun G's hit the nail on the head. Big up, my man.
Breaking curses, making people cry, Dark Sun G. This is exactly what this season's all about, my man. Absolutely love it. And he also says Vicario was a bargain and an upgrade to Lloris, unlike Sanchez for Kepa, good point, or Mendy, and Onana for De Gea or Henderson. This is why Spurs are on an incline while Blues and Man United are on the decline. The goalkeeper position is so much more important than people make it out to be, I think. And also it's changing every single year. They're asking more and more and more goalkeepers. I actually think goalkeepers are being less protected each year. It feels like, you're allowed to get away with torment in the box and you're allowed to push them around more. It just feels like they're being asked to just be more kind of like outfield players in possession, just sort of in terms of their leadership. It's just the position's changing right in front of our eyes. And guys like Vicario are able to still, adapt with the changes, of the modern game, but they're still also doing the most important thing. He's making saves. He's still making crack saves for us to keep us in the game. Whereas guys like Sanchez, Onana, they're sort of like known for being a bit like the modern kind of goalkeeper, but I would say the one thing they're not doing is really making saves to actually keep their team in the games when they're really being challenged. And Vicario is doing exactly that, Dark Sun G's. He's doing all the things we need him to in possession. He's being that sweeper keeper, but he's also, been absolutely crack for us when it comes to some of the saves that we've asked him to make. He's kept us in games. He's been, Dave's second highest, second rated goalkeeper or something like that. What was the stat you read?
Yeah, second highest rated goalkeeper in the Premier League behind Areola this season. So he's absolutely flying. On that, Jack, like when I was growing up, the goalkeeper was always someone who couldn't kick a ball. So you're like, look, you can't play football, go in goals, and usually they'd have sort of cat-like reflexes, But now there actually has to be a goalkeeper, but also have the passing range of a Pirlo or someone like that, So it's sort of like it's a real specialized position. It's one that's really been improved on because managers or the analytics coming into the game, they're pointing out these things on areas where you can improve to keep the ball, etc., and keep more and more possession every single time. So the modern day goalkeeper is completely different now. Yeah. But you go back to what a goalkeeper is always expected to, which is save the ball. 6 against Man United, a couple against Arsenal before, where they could have ran away with it in that spell of dominance, a couple against Liverpool there at the weekend. It's the big games where this guy's producing, where maybe we haven't had, where Hugo Lloris, maybe because of the decline in his age and his agility and stuff like that, he's actually starting to cost us. So, absolutely massive from a big Vic Venom Vicario. And hopefully we see more of the same, my man.
And this time, Dark Sun G, he didn't decide to run the whole length of the pitch. He decided to just do what Van de Ven did, just sort of sink to his knees, once we scored the final winner. It was a great celebration from our man. And I felt like I had that conversation with Sonny. He might be one of the sort of signings of the season or one of the steals of the summer, at least in my opinion. One of my favorite signings, actually, more and more and more. Big up, my man. Keith Edwards says, still early days, but it felt like we ran out of ideas against 9 men. Keith would like to sort of bring that up maybe to the next guest. Maybe we'll ask our man Sean Maddox that. And the fact that, is that a worry that Spurs weren't really, on their best game, or were Liverpool causing us problems? Like, did they find something that we couldn't do, or we just not at our best on the day? It is a bit embarrassing how much we struggled against 9 men on the evening, Dave. But was that just a one-off occasion, just not at our best? Why was that?
No, it's not a one-off occasion. Even under Conte, when we got the Champions League that season, if you take yourself to Brentford and Brighton, where they blocked up the middle, set in a low sort of block, we struggled to break them down. And the reason why is because we're trying to play through the middle. But that's where they don't want you. So they're keeping that shape and forcing you out
Making
wide.
that
You
hard.
actually go back and look at the game. When Højbjerg came on, with Bissouma, right? He had a great game. But the last 10 minutes before he came off, he was really slowing the game down.
Yeah.
Too many touches. He wasn't having his head on a swivel. And ultimately, we were just passing it 5 yards. But what's that doing? It's doing nothing. That's what they want you to do. When Højbjerg came in, if you watch him, it was one touch, stretch the play, out wide. And that's what you got to do against these teams. You have to go out wide and you have to stretch the play. Ultimately, what we were doing is then it was too slow going out wide, which meant they just put bodies in the box, dealt with everything that came in. But when you look at our goal, Romero, quick switch of play out to Porro, quick ball across the box. They didn't have time to adjust. We got our look. And that's the difference. It's the quickness of play and keeping your wingers out wide and spreading that ball. But it has to be done at pace. We were way too slow. And it was the same against Brentford under Conte and Brighton on the Champions League run. And there was times under Pochettino, it was the same thing as well. We have to learn to speed it up. There was too many players, I thought, playing it safe because they didn't want to get caught on the counter. And they didn't want to track back. But when Postecoglou made changes, whether we agreed with them or not, it sped up the play and we got the result.
Yeah, spot on, Dave. Absolutely spot on. Keith, let me know, though, if that's something that's on your mind, though. Is that something that you're just sort of a little bit, like I asked Dermot earlier, right, Keith? Was there something we can take away from that game? Or was it just sort of ruined by kind of the decisions and by the red cards? I can't really take much from it. Feels like Keith is, I don't know if he's saying you take a whole lot from it, but if there is something to take from it, it's the fact that we did struggle against 9 men and it just really weren't showing our best stuff. Yeah, it needs to be better next time. Big up to you, Keith, and I really appreciate the support as well as you, Dark Sun G. Just want to welcome in some people. Neil Shafton saying, "You'll never whine alone." Absolutely love it, King Hoddle, or Neil Shafton. And then King Hoddle saying, just to answer your question from earlier, Dave, he's saying too simplistic to just say scrap it. So I thought I'd ask that to Sean as well, maybe later, as well as Keith's sort of thing. Like, can you just scrap it overnight? Sorry, what am I doing? I'm making him wait too much. Come on, Sean, get in here.
I was got my interpretation of Liverpool fan right now.
Or every Premier League fan, Sean. They've all united against us.
Well, I mean, I've been trolling all of kind of the Liverpool fans on pretty much any of the punditry things, and all of them are like, "There's a conspiracy against us. They're trying to give the league away to Man City," and I was just like, or they're incompetent. They've been incompetent all season. People underestimate the level of incompetence possible by people. And I'm just kind of like, no, this is incompetence. They've been terrible all year, the refs. There's no reason that because one decision went against Liverpool that suddenly it's corruption over incompetence. So just my homage to the Liverpool fans.
I do love the Man City conspiracy, though. Like, why would Premier League benefit from giving the title to the Man City for the 40th time? Like, like that wouldn't benefit them at all. Like, it would benefit them to give it to Arsenal or to give it to someone else.
The person who thinks that the conspiracy is to give it away to the London clubs. And over the last few years, I was like, what part of London is Man City located in? Again, I think they're butthurt and just sore losers, and I want them to cry as much as possible.
That's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are. But look, I do want you to answer Keith Edwards' super chat, but before that, let's take King Hoddle's. Just while we're on the subject, is it too simplistic of me just to say scrap VAR?
Again, Dave, I think that there's more complexity to this issue. I mean, I think the big problem is that we're not only getting these calls on VAR wrong. The calls on the field are wrong, and then they're not fixing them in VAR, which goes down to a fundamental issue in our refereeing generally. Like the refs haven't been good enough. You're putting the same people on the job at the VAR room who can't make the calls on the field and expecting a different result. So again, I think until they go structurally and rebuild the refereeing infrastructure from the ground up, get some proper training in. Again, other leagues, you're not hearing anywhere near as much controversy game after game because of the refs can't do their job. And I think what we're seeing is the Prem has not been doing that. Again, we're seeing reports that these officials were in the United Arab Emirates 2 days before. Obviously, they shouldn't be like in another country 2 days before refereeing, but why are they there? Probably because the Prem isn't paying them enough money to turn down the opportunity to ref more games.
Well, I actually read something the other day, Sean, and a referee makes over 100,000 a year. So I think they do get paid more than enough money not to be over at Saudi Arabia. And one thing I just want to
But they're probably jealous of the players making 100,000 a week.
Again, I don't know exactly where the salaries are, but you're questioning, okay, why isn't there anything that says, hey, you can only ref for this one league? If they're paying them a reasonable amount, then most of the refs don't need to go elsewhere, and they can find people that like refereeing want to do a good job. And the standard of refereeing in the league has been declining over the years. So I think that, again, you would hope that with the additional chances to fix these mistakes in VAR, they would do a better job. But the problem is they're not getting calls right on the field. So throwing VAR away isn't going to solve that, because then everyone's just going to be complaining about the bad calls on the field at the weekend. And I think part of why you're seeing so much complaining is because you have social media and the media culture has changed, where everyone's seeing a million reclips of this. In the 90s, when there was less coverage, you didn't have a YouTube video showing you that the ref fucked up. You just had a newspaper being like bad refereeing. And
I would say back then the rules were a lot more simplistic as well. Now you've got so many different scenarios and stuff, and it's ridiculous. One thing I want to ask you is, I hear this a lot that, you don't hear as much controversy from other leagues, and I take that point. But other leagues are nowhere near as quick as the Premier League. And I think that's what we have to understand. With our league, it's the quickest league in the world, the fastest league in the world. Whereas with other leagues, it's a lot slower. So I don't think there's as much decisions to be made, or, as much sort of, risky challenges and stuff like that, I would argue. And maybe that's the reason why they get more decisions right in other leagues, because it's slower. But we don't want to lose that product in the Premier League, though, right?
Well, yeah, but again, it feels almost as if like they're worse than they were 5 years ago at the calls on the field. The Prem hasn't shifted that drastically, and these are calls other than the handball rule, which they change every year because they haven't figured out how to make it work correctly. They're more basic things like those fouls where Madison got tackled in the box, where the Onana like assaulted the Wolves forward. Calls like that theoretically, like, the ref should be able to see that and come to the right conclusion, and they're not getting those right. So I think that there's just not a high enough level that it comes into effect that being a little bit faster. That might make it harder, but they're just doing a bad job on what should be some easier calls.
Mark is agreeing with you, saying never ascribe to malice that which is adequately explained by incompetence, meaning like they're just incompetent. It's not really much deeper than that, right? Like they're just not very good at the jobs that they have. There's no reason to read much deeper into it. Perhaps we can just get better guys in here that can actually do what, is being put in front of them. I just have a belief too, personally, that all the referees seem to sort of come from the same background, all sort of look the same, or all of the same age bracket. They seem to just have been taught all the same things. I think we need definitely just a new wave, a new age of referees that have now maybe more comfort with kind of using modern technology and are probably more comfortable with kind of how the game seems to be changing, whether you think rightly or wrongly for the good, but more towards this kind of heavy use of technology, heavy use of kind of interruptions and things like that. Because a lot of the referees we have now are from the older era where that used to not be the case, right? And they're having to have learned, you know, how to change. And maybe we just need referees that are sort of just now pretty much born into this kind of new era of how things are done. But that's just me. Any kind of final words on the referees before we ask you on kind of Keith's kind of question here, Sean?
I
Also,
guess
everybody loves your choice of flat cap, by the way.
Yeah, you know, I gotta change it up every once in a while.
People are asking if you got it from Jurgen Klopp as well.
Yeah, no, again, I think on the refereeing, it's frustrating because it's detracting from the focus on the game, which, again, was a pretty good game for the most part. And that's the sad thing. Like, Son scored his 200th goal, yet all we're talking about is an offside goal or an onside goal from Diaz, and these two red cards, which are arguably red cards. Again, there might be some discretion on the first one, but there's more of a question of if there's room for interpretation, then it's not a serious error per se. If half of us are like, that's a red card, the other half are not, then it's kind of more of a, there's probably no reason to overturn that from PGMOL because it just is a different interpretation of what a reckless tackle is, and that's fine.
It's not just an interpretation issue, though. Like, the VAR the lines weren't working. That's a system issue as well.
Yeah, no, and again, that's the thing, is that's the objective call that should be correct 100% of the time. Like, there's technology that does a better job. Like, in the World Cup, they had a good job doing the offsides, and maybe that system should be in place. But again, I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, okay, there were red cards. You play with the hand that you're dealt, and you just got to suck it up. We've had plenty of red cards that were like, you know, I think that was probably more a yellow, or it's an orange card. It's in between, and they can go one way or another. But you got to play on, and we don't stop.
Yeah, never stop. The question I left for Dermot earlier, Sean, I'm not sure what you think of it. Did we actually learn anything from this game, or was it sort of just ruined by the decisions and ruined by the red cards, that there's not much to take from it? Or do you feel like you're with Keith here, that we struggled against 9 men?
I mean, I think we learned that we have some areas in the squad that we don't have quite enough depth for, considering some of these injuries, where we're struggling a bit on creativity, especially when we're down to a low block. And the other frustration was, I was seeing all over the internet Liverpool fans being like, Klopp is a tactical genius. I'm like, he parked 8 guys behind in the box.
That's what any other manager would
park
have
the bus.
Yeah,
I'm
really.
like, we've seen that from Burnley for 20 years. They no special credit there when they do that, and they score on a counter.
No special credit.
So I am just like, it's not a tactical masterclass. That's called playing whatever optimally with 9 men. And again, I think Dave actually made a really solid point about the width there. That's actually the same point that Gary Neville made in his commentary.
So what did he say?
Match of the day, when he was talking about how you have to attack, or how you attack that low block, and he's kind of, no, you have to get it wide, and you have to put that ball in behind the defense, make them run at their own goal, and then there's a chance for the mistake. And Matip, man of the match, top bin shot, phenomenal performance there. But you create that opportunity by going wide, putting in dangerous ball, and making them make a decision.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, Sean. I completely agree. And it felt like, we actually started to do that, like Dave said, when maybe Højbjerg came onto the pitch, but we were kind of playing too much in front of them, and we weren't working it into those wide areas, like you said.
Yeah, we weren't playing well for a lot of that part where they were down to 9 men. I mean, I think part of it was Basuma was struggling. I think he was carrying a bit of a knock from that potential leg breaking challenge because he never looked fully right after that in that game. We weren't seeing his explosiveness. So I think that was impacting him. And again, that's probably why you have to take him off. Maybe if our manager take him off a bit sooner. If it was that, because we couldn't kind of keep that pace, because normally Basuma dictates our tempo in game. So I think that's potentially an area where we go there. But if we also look at like our bench options or our injuries, Bentancur, who would be the most notable person to sub on for Basuma in that situation, he's injured. Lo Celso is injured, so you can't bring him on potentially for Madison to have some creativity. You got Hill Messi out. Again, our injured Johnson out. Our injuries are of those players that offer that creativity or something going forward. So we put on the players we have and we keep going at it. Fortunately, again, we have those talented wide fullbacks like Porro who can kind of drive at those defenders. And honestly, I mean, Kulu and Romero were pretty good on the wings. Not perfect. Again, I would have liked to. I was kind of frustrated with Kulu because I really wanted him to drive at his defender and push toward that byline, which I felt like he wasn't doing as often. Because again, that's how you beat numbers up. Is you create that man advantage by taking one of them out of the game. I mean, again, I think Liverpool keep thinking they're like, oh, add a goal, it's 2-2, and it's kind of Richarlison hit the post, and Alisson had two absolute world-class saves with his fingertips, where had the ball been an inch either direction, that's two goals that we could have scored, where we could be more clinical. But again, it was not Liverpool was not all threatening or about to win that game.
Yeah. Look, let them cry. That's what I say. Cry more. Hashtag cry more. In the words of Richarlison. But Shawnee, absolutely great calling, my man. Great discussion again. Made me giggle as well, which is always a bonus. Appreciate your time, brother. And we'll speak again very soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's go.
Nice call, Shawnee. Come on, you Spurs. See you soon, my friend. Great call. And also, nice. Also, great job on the hat as well. You don't need to use it for next time, hopefully. Hopefully, no Luton Town fans
not. Again, we're saving this in reserve. But again, as Spurs fans, we're not out here making conspiracies and whining. Again, we don't always get the rub of the green. Well, we just accept it and move on, because ultimately, if we play better on the pitch, then we can cut out the impact of these ref decisions. Because again, if it's one disallowed goal, then if you play better and you score a goal, problem solved. That's what Liverpool needs to do, is focus on their own game instead of the referees.
Exactly. Exactly. Get back on the training pitch instead of looking for excuses. Big up, Charlie, my man. And look, I didn't actually get to play FIFA this weekend, but I will bit more of a
we'll make it work at some point.
We'll get on it. We'll get on it.
Nice one, Shawnee. See you soon, sir. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Absolutely quality. What an entrance. What an entrance. Really good discussion as well. Really enjoyed that. As always with Shawnee. But look, let's keep it moving. Very busy in here today. We've got the regular. Yeah. Sorry, Jack.
Quickly, remember. Yeah, sorry. You were right on it. The regular member for 23 months, nearly 2 years. Absolute legend. Big up, everyone. Luton away will be tough. I feel like it'll be easy, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I feel like the stadium, it's not as loud as it really can, be as other stadiums. Yes, it has more of that sort of close proximity, and it's a bit strange for certain players, but I don't know. Like it doesn't look like that tough of a place to go. Am I being disingenuous, Dave?
No, look, it shouldn't. Look, let's be honest. It shouldn't be a tough place to go. If you're a team that has aspirations of making top four, this should be a banker of 3 points. And we could sit here and say, "Oh, you don't take any team lightly." I guarantee you, the message from Ange Postecoglou to the players is, "Lads, we should be winning these games. Go out there and get the job done." So that just tells me we should be expecting 3 points. Look, they are going to sit back in. They are going to play low block, and they're going to look to play us on the counter. That's where the game becomes a little bit tricky. But, just hopefully they've had all this week to work on it. or they have all this week to work on it, on finding ways of breaking these teams down and coming up with patterns and stuff like that. So I don't think we should be too concerned, to be honest with you, my man. Big yourself up. I think I see someone giving updates on the under-21s, and we're 3-2 up. Jamie Donnelly, the Dominator, with a
Come
brace.
on, Dave.
I won on the 87th minute, near the end of the game, and that will take our unbeaten run. It continues, and it should put us top of the league. So fair play to the boys. Tottenham Hotspur really let them down by not playing them on the box tonight, but the Dominator has done it again.
Big up to the regular. Thank you for your 2 years of support, my friend. And just a guy who loves Spurs, I think we'll give this question on to Brad, and we'll have a nice discussion on it, my friend. Big up to you, and absolute, joyous news to hear that, the under-21s, it looked like they could be, remaining undefeated. 2 teams undefeated at the moment. Moondog saying, good evening, Jack and Dave. We will beat Luton. I have a lot of confidence going to that one. I might be put in the mud because a lot of times I've said that this will be an easy game. I might even said 2 or 3 weeks ago this will be an easy game. So I really hope I get proven right, Moondog, because I might be in some way embarrassed if it doesn't go in that sort of manner. But big up to you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Hopefully Charlie's all right. And as well. Just hope you're all right this Monday evening, Moondog. Big up to you.
Yeah, big up, Moondog. Look, we shouldn't be afraid going to Luton. We should be in control of possession, just a bit more clinical than what we were last week, a bit more care in the final third, a bit more proactiveness as well, and you beat them. They came up from the Championship. They're not world beaters. Let's not put them in that bracket either. And in a way, I hope we go out and smack them so we can start getting rid of this sort of worriedness going into these sort of games. Most other big clubs like Man City walk in there with the attitude, I was steamroll them 5 today. Whereas we go in there nervous, and we shouldn't be. If we want to be one of them big clubs, we also have to start acting like one of them. So big up Moondog leading the way on that. Absolute legend.
And then also Marcus saying 4-2 from Niall John.
Come on.
4-2 is a beautiful scoreline.
You guys watching the game?
I think they're just getting updates on Twitter. I
hope that's the case.
I think that's what's happening. I mean, I'd be disappointed if they found a way and they didn't let you know about it. If they didn't let you know about it. But let's bring on Brad and let's see what he thought of the game. Let's see what he also thinks of this question here from Just a Guy Who Loves Spurs. Everybody smash that like button if you've been enjoying the show thus far. Let's bring on Brad Matthews.
Hey guys, all right?
Yeah, all right, Brad. How about you?
Brad?
I'm good. Yes, full of the joys of spring. Well, full of joys of autumn, actually, not spring. But I'm well. It's been an interesting weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, Spurs broke the space-time continuum of VAR and broke the world. It felt like all of a sudden,
center of a diplomatic incident. Just we got the United Nations.
It's a crisis. It's an international crisis.
Yeah, petitions. They'd be brought up in Parliament. Oh my word! This is incredible.
Is this the worst refereeing display you've ever seen, Brad? This is what people have sort of said. That's what I've heard a lot. The worst display we've ever seen.
No, I've seen a lot worse. Look, it wasn't even the referee's problem, the VAR decision. It was the 2 guys, and this is what makes it amazing. There's 2 of them. They thought that the goal had been given on field. So they looked at the offside and thought, oh, yeah, he's onside. They communicate with the referee, it's complete. Check complete. So when the referee hears that, check complete, he thinks, well, okay, that's what's ever happened on field. So it's going to be the offside. And apparently the 2 VAR guys suddenly thought, hang on a minute, they've taken a free kick. What's going on? So that's when they realised they made their mistake. And by the time the free kick's taken, that's it, too late. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, look, I'll tell you one thing. To be honest, I'm literally level with the Liverpool guy. When that ball went through, I'm thinking he's offside. That's my
in real time. You felt that way.
My instinctive reaction was he's offside, and the goal went in, and the linesman put his flag out. I thought, that's fair. And then, of course, obviously, seconds followed, and then we start off with a free kick. So, it wasn't until I got home that there was, you suddenly realised it's this massive. Oh, that's right. The first time I heard it was on reading the apology on Twitter going home on the train. So, what?
What's happened here? That's funny. In the stadium, you weren't thinking like this is the worst refereeing display I've ever seen.
But I mean, look, the red card. It looked bad from my part. I thought his foot actually went in a little bit higher, but that's the other side of the pitch. And then what they actually did, which I've never seen them do it, once they asked, it came up on the screen. There's another thing about the offside I'll mention in a minute. When it comes up on the screen, a possible red card. The referee goes over, he gets the red card, everyone cheers, and as the guy's coming off, they actually showed it on the big screen, the tackle going in, and everyone's like, sort of thing. It was a bad tackle. I don't care if he went over the ball, he hit the ball and he went over it. It was a bad tackle and it was a red. As for the other guy,
control, reckless.
Yeah, exactly. And as for Jota, okay, the first yellow card you could argue probably wasn't, but then if you've been given a yellow card, why are you going to bring some guy down 2 minutes
2 seconds later?
It was just incredible. It wasn't even like a bad tackle. It was obvious foul. It's like, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with these people? So the other thing that no one's actually mentioned was the fact that on the big screen, so okay, if anyone's haven't been to Tottenham Hotspur, they got screens on every corner of the ground. They show the match as it's in play. When there's a VAR check, it comes up with VAR check, possible offside. That didn't change for about 10 minutes. That's the funny thing about it, because they're playing on. The referee played on. And I said to the person who sits there, they're still checking it or something. And then eventually, about 10 minutes later, it comes up, check complete. So they've stuffed up there as well. So it's hilarious.
It did look at one stage, I remember during the watch along straight, sort of after they got the offside decision wrong, it did look like the referee was listening in on the monitor. And it thought to me, like they were trying to decide whether they could just say give it or not, or someone made the call saying, "Look, it's gone on too long anyway." But it was weird. But Brad, I do want to have this discussion with you that Jim's bringing up, because I read a stat today that Dejan Kulusevski, I think, has the second most or third most progressive carries in the Premier League?
Most progressive carries, you said, Dave, and then second most shot creating actions, right? Or something like that in the entire league. Also, most distance covered at one stage as well.
He has the highest distance covered in the Premier League, running distance.
But he's leading now in some other stats as well that you just brought up. Brad, thoughts on Kulusevski? How is he playing?
I think he's playing well, but the problem he has is that he's too one-footed. That's the problem he has, and I think on Saturday it got to a situation where you knew what's going to happen. We did. As soon as Liverpool started parking the bus, and you knew that they had the tall defenders, and they defended well. We can't deny that, they defended well, but we actually Kulusevski get the ball, and that's on my side in the second half. So I'm looking really direct. Every time I got Kulusevski, if I know what he's going to do, he's going to cut in on his left, put it across, and they're going to deal with it. And the irony is, the goal came from when the ball was fed through to Porro. And he just basically, whether he did this on purpose or not, he thought, well, I'm going to just welly this, just hit this really hard and see what happens. And that's what he did, and the ball went in, and we got the goal and the win. So, I think that's the only problem we have with Kulusevski. It might just be a question of where he plays. Maybe he might be better in the middle, might be better on the left. Do
you agree with some are saying that we're just not crossing it in simply enough, like what Gary Neville was bringing it up? We just weren't taking advantage of the wide areas, and we weren't whipping the balls into the box nearly enough.
Yeah, I watched the game in full yesterday. When you can watch it in a relaxed attitude because you know what the score's going to be. And I agree with that point. He actually said that Postecoglou's main way of playing is to go down the middle, and that creates a space on the flanks. But when they start defending in the middle of that, then you got to change that around. You got to go, concentrate on the flanks. And the irony was that we got the first goal came from exactly that, where putting Richarlison through. And I think Richarlison didn't have a bad game on the left when he plays on the left. And then in the second half, he got put through and was just about half a yard offside. If he'd have timed his run a little bit better, we would have got the goal, and everyone would have been relieved. So I think that you've got to play, but I think that's just football in general. Is quick play. It's always going to, it's always going to be more advantageous to you. And that's what I did worry in the second half, was when it went down to 9 men, and you knew what Liverpool were going to do. You just thought we did seem a little bit ponderous and a little bit slow. And I did actually get to the stage, and I know I shouldn't, but I thought, I can't see how we're going to score.
I felt that way.
And as I said, it was just when we did change it slightly, we got Porro through, and he just basically, I'm hitting this, and the ball went in the back of the net. So, which is another thing about all these moaning bloody Liverpool fans, is we wouldn't be hearing anything about the VAR if they got a 1-1 draw. And they would have got a 1-1 draw if their defender hadn't put it in his own net. So, don't blame us. Don't blame VAR. We would.
Yeah, I
not
think they're
be
actually
doing
petitioning to disallow own goals, Brad. I heard. We're going to get rid of those.
It was,
Yeah.
or make the defender scores an own goal, he can be offside.
Mm.
This wouldn't be surprised if they're doing this sort of rule changes. But yeah. So and as for the talk about that decision could cost them the league or the top four or whatever, what a load of rubbish! It's crap. I don't go with that. There are 38 games in the season. The only time it would cost you is if you need to win a game in the last game of the season and you score with the last kick of the game and it's wrongly disallowed. Then you can claim that's cost us the title or whatever it might be. But whilst there's 31 games to go in the season, and also the fact about we would have drawn 2-2. Well, no, that VAR decision came in the 30th minute of the game. You've got another hour to play, and that changes the whole complex of the game. Once if that goal's given, that changes the whole way. It changes how we play. It changes how they play. So to say, we were robbed of a point, it's rubbish, absolute garbage. Again, if we'd have scored in the last minute with that last kick of the game and it had been wrongly, it was offside and wrongly given an onside. Well, then you can say that. But yeah, no, it's just
they're just a bunch of. Just a bunch of whiny fucks. That's all they are. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. Honestly, they're a joke. They're a joke.
Sure.
They should be talking about Matip not concentrating, not being able to turn properly, stuff like that.
It's not VAR's fault that the guy who's on a yellow card creates a tackle 2 minutes later. Which is good revenge for last season when he should have been red carded against with that challenge on Skip. But anyway, it's another matter.
How do you feel as a Spurs fan right now, Brad? Are we realistic title contenders? How do we compare to the rest of the Premier League right now?
Your man Sean asked me and Marlon and Anstey the same question on Saturday after the match, and my question was, well, whilst we're a certain amount of points behind the leaders and there's enough games to overtake them, we're technically a title challenger, but then you could argue that maybe half the league at this moment in time is a title challenger based on that logic. Now, I personally don't think we are. I think our squad, our first 11 is very good. If you could guarantee we had this same first 11 for the rest of the season with no injuries, then yeah, I think we would have a good chance. But that's not going to happen. I would find it very rare if that happens. So we've got a couple of players, you take Maddison off. We haven't got a lot, really there to do what Maddison does. Lo Celso, the only one that could do that, is injured all the time. So, we might never know that. Basuma's quite important. He's one yellow card away from a suspension. He's going to the African Cup of Nations. I think Sarr, maybe we can get over because we've got Bentancur to come back. So you could probably argue that's not too bad. I think we got decent players on the bench, but they're not the like for like replacements for the main kingpins of our team. Who's replacing Sonny if Sonny gets injured? This sort of thing. So I think with the squad we've got, this is why someone actually said it in the chat. January transfer window is really important. If we are in a position in a new year where we're up there or thereabouts, then that January transfer window becomes incredibly important, and that could be the difference between winning something or not winning something. But no, I think realistically, maybe in the next couple of seasons, next couple of transfer windows, when the team, the fact that the team are playing this well, my predictions of mid-table. Well, that prediction's looking a little bit silly at the moment. But yeah, that's because it's going to take a season to get to where where Ange wants them to be. But they seem to be doing it a lot quicker. So yeah.
One thing I just quickly on the title challenge, we'll let you plug your channel, Brad, is last year when Arsenal were in the same boat as us, no Europe, the whole league spoke about why can't they go and make a title challenge? They've got no Europe. They spoke about all the benefits of it, this, that, and the other. But when it comes to Tottenham, everyone's writing us off. I don't know why. I don't know why. Look, that's a conversation for another day. I just think if people make reasons, and look, Spurs fans made reasons why Arsenal were title challengers last year, so back your team and do it this year. That's what I would say if there's anyone doubting. But look, Brad, let's plug the channel, my man.
Yeah, in answer to that, Dave, there's no reason why we can't. I mean, who'd have backed Leicester to win the title, and they did. So, and they had a good run without any injuries, didn't they? Jamie Vardy, I think, played every game of the season, so and scored all their goals. So there's no reason. But I think the Arsenal team last season had 2 or 3 seasons under Arteta where they'd been developing that way of playing, and we, I think we're doing absolutely brilliantly to have come this far, to be made the start we have. And I think the potential of this team, when you think how young they are, I think the potential of this team is incredible. It's the sky's the limit. You imagine this team if they keep together, playing in 2 seasons time, 3 seasons time. When where your 20-year-olds are 25-year-olds and they got the Premiership experience. Yeah, okay, you can have players come and go maybe in that time, but if we keep this nucleus together and the manager and we're all behind them like we are at the moment, there's no telling what we can do. Really, no telling. So I it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I just think it's unlikely. But hey, look, I'm willing to be proven wrong.
And I bet you're willing to make us a title-winning song, at some stage, Brad. We're going to force you to have to do it. So
maybe the cup final song will become a double song.
Blue Sofa song, sir. Tell us about it. What's going on?
If you don't already know, it's totally unrelated to football. It's my Blue Sofa Songs is my music channel where I've put my own songs that I've written. I've written the music, written the words, play all the instruments, basically record it on a DAW software and put it on as a song and put a video clip. Depending on how much time I got is how complex the clip is. If you go on there, there's a thing called favourites there. The songs I think are good. The other songs are okay. And it goes from the very first song where I'm using the camera phone playing live to this posh sort of recording stuff. So, yes, it's my view on the world. So, please have a look at it. And once again, thanks to these guys for letting me plug the channel. There'll be a new song out. I'm trying to go the 4th Friday of every month now because I'm working. So,
nice.
And there is one out there at the moment. My take, I'm quite proud of the one at the moment. It's my take on climate change. So climate change described in a 2-minute pop song. So there you go. What can I say?
Nice. You'll be out there with Just Stop Oil next.
Yeah, well, and thanks to all the people that have supported me as well. Some of you are in the chat, and I really do appreciate it. When you make your comments on the videos, it's really, really great. I really do appreciate that. And whilst you're still supporting me, I'm still continuing to do it and trying to improve with every song. Nice. We'll see. But yeah, thanks to you guys and subscribe to these guys if you don't already. Subscribe to all the other guys on here that have got their own channels. It's an absolutely wonderful community. Sorry, I'm going on a bit here, but Saturday bumped into Sean. There was all these other guys there. There's Sim from We Are Tottenham TV, and before I forget, a couple of guys come up to me, so they recognised me. They said, "Oh, you're Brad, aren't you?" Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So there you go.
Nice,
Michael from Ealing, American or Canadian guy. And I can't remember the other guy's name. I'm very, very sorry, but I think he said he's in the chat every now and again. But yeah, they said, "Oh, you're Brad, aren't you?" So yeah, that was quite chuffed with that. To be fair.
Nice one, Brad.
Nice.
Cheers,
nice.
Great call as always.
Cheers, guys. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Brad.
Big up,
See
Brad.
you soon, man.
Big up, my man. See you soon, brother. See you.
Have a good evening.
You too, guys. You too.
It's always nice to be recognised. It is nice to be recognised there.
Yeah.
So fair play. That made Brad's day too. Fair play to the two boys. Just quickly on Jim's. I think he's absolutely look when it comes to Kulu. I think I get it with the end product, right? I do get it. Sort of against Liverpool, it was disappointing. But what I will say, at least he's constantly doing it with that left-hand side. The reason why it's up for grabs isn't just because of injuries, but because there hasn't been much production on that side. Whereas at least with Kulu, he's constantly trying the right thing and he is putting them balls in. It's just that final bit of quality that's lacking. Is he
less predictable? Is he less predictable than he used to be, Dave? Like, are people reading him? A lot of the people used to complain about that, right? He was just so easy to read sometimes. Is he less readable than he used to be?
If he's readable, well, then why can't they stop him putting the balls in?
Good point. And also, I don't think he would be averaging as many progressive carries, right? If he was if they were reading him, like they would get stuck in on him. They would get stuck in on him. And they would dispossess him, too. I think he's improving a lot, Jim. I think he's starting to look like he's back to his best. I would like to see maybe some more of those. I mean, maybe it's a little too much to ask, but some of those worldy goals that he actually had in the, kind of the later stages of the, his first season with us, he had some spectacular goals. I think his creativity, nothing to complain about right now with his creativity. Maybe the goal scoring. I don't know. Like, I feel like he's had some chances to score that maybe he hasn't taken. But in the last 2 games, I think he's been one of our better creative players. North London Derby, especially. North London Derby, especially. Big up to you, Jim. And I hope you're all right this evening. Shout out to Kate as well. Hopefully she's keeping all right. Big up to you, Jimbo. And also we have Sonny Talk Spurs in the house. Hopefully you're keeping well, Sonny, this evening, my man. And fresh off of work, easing into the rest of the evening. Hopefully you're okay, my man. Yeah. Let's go on to the next guest of the day. And I skipped him. I think it was Daniel Larson.
I was going to say
Daniel. Yellow card for me, Daniel. What were you going to say, Dave?
Blame Jack, Daniel. Don't take it out on me.
No, my fault.
VAR, Daniel. VAR.
Yeah, VAR. No, but the VAR is just, it's been issued. So this is fine.
Human error, that's for sure. Human error,
definitely.
I don't know where you want to start. Yeah, Dave.
I want to ask Daniel a question. Would you agree with me when I say that, Højbjerg sort of, sped up the game for Tottenham when he came on in that deeper role, and that's why we ended up getting that last minute goal?
Yeah, maybe it's definitely of the substitution. I think he definitely did the most. That's true. But I don't think it was that much of a difference for me. But
okay.
But maybe. But I didn't really pay much attention. I was just completely off my head, like just going mental to it, like just.
Yeah.
So didn't really pay attention to players at the time.
Well, look, what do you make of all Liverpool fans then crying over the weekend, and what do you make of a lot of the controversial decisions?
Yeah. Of course, I mean, with the decisions, I mean, every team in the world has shitty decisions going against them at times.
Yeah.
This time was Liverpool. It is a disgraceful decision. Of course, he's miles on side. And the red card is a red card. I don't know why they're crying about that. That's red. I mean, we saw Lucky didn't break his ankle. Like, they were so close to breaking his ankle. And second yellow, I mean, the first one probably not yellow, but Jota should have had the yellow before that anyway. So it's like 3 yellows, basically, anyway. So you can't really blame too much there.
3 yellows, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but he should have had... It's insane. So the only decision is the VAR that I can really complain about.
Yeah.
The thing that pisses me off is that they're calling us shameless for celebrating a last second winner. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to lay down. Oh, I'm sorry for winning. I'm so sorry.
But did they not celebrate when Lucas set up them for a last minute winner last season?
Yeah. If this the other way around, you'd be celebrating. They would be celebrating. They're calling us. You know that you would be celebrating, wouldn't you? So
and
you complaining is how can you? Yeah, it's mental, and they're still crying. Like they got nothing else to do than being on Twitter and social media, keyboard. This is a joke. Do something. Look yourself in the mirror. Maybe I should do something else now. Fucking idiots. Get ready.
So, Daniel, when you heard that this was the worst Premier League refereeing display in history, I heard that everywhere, and I heard that from plenty. Seems like you might disagree on that one. I mean, even Ribsy said it wasn't the worst refereeing display that weekend.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not the worst.
Not the worst.
It's been a lot. VAR, the decision VAR maybe it's one of the worst, but the referee, I don't think you can blame too much.
Well, this seems to be a big part of the debate. Is it the referees or is it the technology?
Well, it is the technology. And I think you, Jack, said backstage, it's like the referees have
they all
maybe
look the
too
same.
old.
They're all from the same. Yeah.
They can't really get used to the technology. Maybe something like that.
They're too old maybe to use it.
Get some young guys in. Get me in. Fuck you. I fucking do a job. No,
Do you feel like what Dave brought up earlier, just scrap it? It's been 3 to 4 years. It's not really improved that much. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
But King Hoddle was like, you can't do that. It's not as easy to say that. What do you make of that? Is it easy just to get rid of it? Like, can next season we just have no VAR and it's just over? The VAR era is over?
No, you can't just get rid of it now. You got to discuss so much, situation you got to go through to get rid of it again. But you can take like 5 years or some years, and then like, okay, we're gonna this much, set a timeline on it, and if it doesn't work at that time, just scrap it and go back.
They added 5 substitutions. They just did that. They're adding an extra Champions League place. All of a sudden, why can't they change VAR?
Yeah, I think they can, but it's gonna take years. If you start now and you decide, okay, now we gotta look at it, then it's gonna take a time for it to disappear.
The way I see it, right, until they can get it fit for purpose, stop using it. That's where I'm at. And look, I agree with King Huddle to a certain extent. They're never going to get rid of it purely because of the amount of money. And they're all interlinked now, all these technology companies on football and everything else. So they're never going to get rid of it now because they're all, whether we like it or not, the people at the top of football, have we seen, they're all self-serving people. So they're never going to get rid of it at this point. However, we were told it was brought in to improve the game and improve officiating. And it's done the exact opposite, in my opinion. I actually think it's killing the game. It's slowing it down. It's taking the passion out of the game. And for me, I think they can't scrap it. They brought it in like that. So I don't see why they can't scrap it like that. There was a word beforehand where there was no VAR.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't like VAR. Never really liked it, even though it's gone for us sometimes. But still, I don't see the point.
Because I think with anything, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
So the point of life and sports or whatever is human error at times. You don't need to like a robot or a little something to just decide, oh no, correct stuff. Never been like that. Me.
Look, I do take the point. Maybe you look at the officials. I think, look, I think we need younger officials that can actually keep up with the pace of the game now. I think that might help. I also think, if you see, the problem is you need someone, you need referees in the VAR room. You have to have a referee. You can't just have some tech nerd who's good at the technology but doesn't know anything about the rule book. That's never going to work. But again, until the rules match up with the system and they make it black or white, you're never going to ever come to a straight decision. You're going to keep seeing the disparity of decisions across all the games across the weekend because everyone interprets the rules differently because they're left over to interpretation because there's so many different variables. So until all that's tidied up and until they find a way of implementing it properly, get the thing out of the game because it's only ruining it. And now you're getting to the point where Liverpool and Tottenham was tuned in by the whole world. No one's talking about any of the football. No one's talking about anything else but the referees in the VAR decision. And this seems to be every single weekend now. Before VAR, you barely had that. You had most people analysing, talking about the football, and the odd decision in a big game might be pulled out here or there. But now it's just constant. It doesn't matter. The magnitude of the game, I think it's absolutely ruined it.
Yeah.
It's got to go.
Daniel, kind of question for you sort of on the game.
Yeah.
Was it ruined by VAR? Did the referees' decisions with the red cards just sort of make it a game where you can't really take much from it? Not many lessons or analysis to really take from it? Or do you kind of agree with what Keith Edwards brought up earlier, that Spurs actually struggled against 9 men? And is there something to read into that we struggled against 9 men?
Well, for me, like when I watched the game and I did comment, like we've been real when they went 9 men, we will really lackluster. But 9 men is so rare in football. We don't know how it really is to play because they completely, parked. Of course, you would completely just go back. And to be fair to Klopp, he did really well with the management for them.
Yeah.
So it is really very difficult because where's the situation? But for me, I also heard Liverpool say, with 11 men, they would have destroyed us. I thought we did really well when it was 11-11. I thought it was such an even game at that point, so I don't think that's true. So
we almost got worse when it became 10. Like in that case.
Yeah. And also, like when they went to 9 men, I said, "Go, get to the line, cross it in as much." And of course, that's how we scored. So I wish we did that more because you saw it just a little error from their defender, and then use a goal. So that's the only issue. I wish we crossed it more, but doesn't matter. Now we won. So.
And someone brought up in the chat though, Kamikaze said, maybe for next time, if we come up against a low block, use Emo as the right back and then put Poro actually more up front. Would you think about that? Because maybe Kulusevski, Dave and I were kind of saying he's been very, very creative for us, but what we needed were more crosses into the box. Would you then put Poro on the right, maybe move Kulu elsewhere? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Dave is shaking his head, though. Dave seems...
Yeah, no, I disagree, to be honest. Don't really see the point in that. I would just brought on a winger instead. Keep Poro there and bring on a different winger.
I think, look, personally, just quickly on that, I think if Kulu's injured, Poro is certainly an option. But instead of having Poro as the inverted fullback, have him bombing on the outside. That's all you got to do. If you get Kulu on the ball on the wing, have Poro bomb on the outside, feed him if no one's following that run, let him cross it. But even if you bring in Emo, it doesn't solve that problem because of what that right back is asked to do. They're asked to play inverted. So it doesn't actually solve that problem.
Okay. I feel like Pedro Porro on the evening, I don't know, like he was really solid defensively, but I felt like he could have been actually better going forward, at least in my opinion. I think he had some moments where I felt like his delivery could have been a bit better. Yes, we benefited from that cross they put in at the very end, but maybe it could have been dealt with a bit better by Joel Mata for sure. And it just felt like with Pedro Porro, it was a funny performance from him where I feel like we're not seeing that many defensive errors from him, but he wasn't as great in possession as I feel like he normally is. And even at one stage, people were kind of saying, let's just put Emerson on because, Pedro wasn't really making enough happen. And he eventually got us that own goal. But I don't know. Would you make a Pedro Porro in general right now? Are you happy with him as the right back? Do you think he's improving a lot?
I think it's been insane. I think he was man of the match for me against Liverpool.
Okay.
I thought it was insane. I thought maybe a little bit forward, but his defensive work, his one-on-one defending is one of the best in the world right now. I can't believe, like, from last season to this, it's fair to him. He has worked on that, of course, Ange and his coaching stuff as well. So you can only you praise the man, and we benefit so much from especially with the way he's inverted swing back coming into midfield as well. No. It's great. Him and Ndoji, completely proving me wrong because I thought they couldn't really be defensively good. But
yeah, they were both struggling defensively.
Now they've just been one of the best in the league for me.
But you know what, though, Daniel? I don't blame many Spurs fans for thinking like that because the quality of some of the players we've had in them positions over the years would make people think like that. But when it goes back to something. It goes back to something I've always said. If you're a good player technically and you've got a good footballing brain and a willingness to learn, a right wing back can play a right back. It's actually not that difficult. It really isn't. And we're seeing that now with the quality of players we've got. So long may this sort of strategy of recruitment sort of, pay off because if you have the quality of player, you can play any system or any way. You just have to have the quality of players to do it. So long may this recruitment continue.
Doesn't even Ange, of course. I mean, it's Paratici signings. So that's the most impressive. This is not even what he's asked for. He just took.
Sorry, I didn't catch you. Who'd you
Paratici, Paratici.
Oh, Don Paratici. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Basically, Conte.
The guy that was called Con and all this other.
Last question, Daniel. Are we title contenders? Are we realistic title contenders? How do we compare to the rest of the league?
We are title contenders, Eurovision contenders, World Cup contenders, everything. Couldn't win it all. No, but seriously,
how good do we look?
We look amazing. But I mean, I don't think we're title contenders. I think top four we're definitely going to get Champions League. Just because if you get an injury to one of the big, we are gonna, struggle massively. Squad depth for me is the one. Even though we play once a week, still, of course, until January, I think. It's gonna be tough. But just for me, if we just, make top four. I mean, FA Cup. Imagine that. I mean, we could easily win. Oh, well, I'll say that we went off, of course, to that Carabao Cup one. But we can struggle if we can just do some FA Cup business and get top four. My God, what a season! And it's gonna be one hell. It's gonna be an overachieving season anyway. Because nobody expected this. Nobody expected this.
Mm.
And of course, we have that
look,
little Sean from the title as well.
That's why I say to everyone, look, enjoy it, enjoy it. Our title race does that question mean we're going to win a title? No, it's just asking, are we in the conversation to make a run at it?
Yeah.
Let's wait and see. But
Yeah.
Daniel, big yourself up, brother. Great to have you on. Great hearing you tell Liverpool fans to grow up a little. That was brilliant. And we'll see you again soon, my man.
Also, I just want to say Van de Ven is still the GOAT. That's
your
man
new
is
fan.
going straight.
New number one
fan. I love him. I mean, he's just unbeatable. He's just unbeatable. What a steal. What a steal.
Just quickly, right? There was twice in the game where he sort of opened up, but I still haven't got to see full speed yet. He was only at like 1%. He just literally opened up the legs and he sped up. So I still haven't seen him at full speed. I'm still waiting to see that, my man.
What a man. What a
guy.
What a
guy. Well, Daniel, go and enjoy the rest of your evening, sir. And we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, you too. You too. And take care.
On, you Spurs.
Have a good one, Daniel.
Come on,
good
Spurs.
evening. Come on, you Spurs.
See you, my man.
Great call, man.
Right.
Great call.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Great call. Great call.
Good man, Daniel. Good man. We're going to keep pushing on this evening, everybody. Do thank Daniel. He's absolutely terrific as always. Do thank Brad. We had Sean earlier as well. We had Dermotron. So many great guests so far this evening. And now we're moving on to the one and only Kuba 99. Please, everybody, keep getting in your comments, as well as if you do want to ask a question or ask Kuba or us anything, feel free to throw it in a super chat. I'd love to hear that from Ed Sweeting as well about Paratici being at the game. That's terrific to hear. But we're going to ask Kuba whatever he wants to talk about. Let's bring him on. Bring him in here, Dave.
Let's hear what he has to say. He got to be a happy clapper after that game. Kuba, how are you keeping, my man?
Yeah, doing really well. How can you not love that anyway? Forget the fact we struggled to break them down. We did break them down eventually, but it's one of they've become a bogey team for us. We get so much bad luck. We would use some good luck, so I'll take it. It was a strange one as well, because right after the game, the words Klopp was using, I thought, wow, he's been really good about this. He was refusing to blame VAR and bigging them up, and then he was backing his team and just saying how magnificent they'd been in defending with 9 men. I thought, wow, he's really changed. Soon sort of drifted away when he had a bit of time to reflect, though, didn't it? And back to having a bit of a whine about it. I think a lot of things said about people frustrated with our inability to break the 9 men down. But I think man of the match was Virgil van Dijk. I thought he was absolutely outstanding from start to finish. Caused havoc in our box when he got forward for headers. Set up their goal. And he was just imperious at the back for them. Led the line so well. It was like a training session you could see at times, with that line of 5 at times with the 3 in front of them, and you thought they're marshalling, they're doing their job so well here.
Did we do enough, though, Kuba, to pull them around, sort of drag them out of positions, probing behind them, down the side to them?
We could have done more as well, couldn't we? As said, I mean, if you're gonna be faced with that kind of thing, you've got to move the ball more quickly. You've got to get them out of their comfort zone, get to the byline, cut the ball back, and as shown, that's how we ended up getting the winner, was that overlapping Porro run. I think this draws into all the disappointment people have about Kulusevski at the moment. And I remember saying earlier over the weekend, he can play like that. He can keep cutting in like that as long as somebody is going on the outside and overlapping. What we're seeing, though, is too many times is Porro tucks in because it's on the other side of the field where the doggy's really getting forward a lot. So we don't want to commit both sets of wing backs right to the top of the pitch. It's one of those you just have to wait it out and be patient. Should have done a little bit more, but at the end of the day, you got to hand it to them. Alisson had a great game. They defended superbly, defended like their lives depended on it. And at the end of the day, we did what we were supposed to do. People say we should be beating 9 men, but we did. So what's the problem? Be happy. I mean, if Man City do it, something like that, you go, oh well, yeah, Man City, they do it. They always
sign a title winner.
All that. If we do it, it's not good enough. How does that work out? So I'm really happy with what happened. First red card. I'm old school for me. I hate this rule. By today's rules, yeah, you can say it's a red card, but for me, that is a pure accident. That's somebody going for the ball, and it's a very unfortunate collision. Could have ended up with a very nasty injury on Basuma, but for me, that's going for the ball, getting the ball, and then afterwards going over the top. Just sign of the times. I hate that stuff. I think
as a football fan, agree with you. As a Tottenham fan, reckless and out of control.
Absolutely.
Worst challenge he's ever seen.
and the second one, a ridiculous first yellow, but he made the decision himself with how stupid he was. The
do you really have sympathy if it's 2 minutes later that then you're making that challenge? That's when you don't really have much sympathy.
He could have had an argument for maybe having a yellow card rescinded at the end of the match, but what he did afterwards is just stupidity, wasn't it? Klopp must have been absolutely raging at him.
That's the one where he can't really complain that much. Where Klopp is sort of like, "What the hell are you doing, Jota?" Whereas maybe Curtis Jones,
stupidity, wasn't it? Yeah, they needed him so much at that point as well. That was the end of any.
He subbed on. That's right. He subbed on and got himself sent off. That's brilliant.
Yeah, but otherwise, the big talk's been about refereeing, and I heard earlier where you were saying, David, about referees getting paid $2,000 a week anyway, and that should be enough. And I had to disagree there because I think with the amount of money in this game at the moment, I'd prefer to see VAR scrapped entirely and just start pumping more money into the refereeing. Get big name. You're getting big names amongst
more into
referees.
The training, more into the academy, and like
put them more into it. Put them more into it. But I think what the conversation was is, are they being paid enough that they have to go over to the Saudi league to earn more money? It's like, well, I mean, $100,000 a week nearly puts you in the top 1% of earners in the country. So, I mean, I think they're being paid enough not to be able to travel out to Saudi Arabia or whatever they were.
For me, again, I remember I was brought up with great referees and some bad referees amongst it. Even in the Premier era. You had big names like Dermot Gallagher, Graham Pole, Uriah Rennie. They were great referees. We might not always get the benefit of it, and of course, there's always going to be some bias towards certain referees when things don't go your way. But nowadays, I think anything a referee does is in danger of just being overruled by technology. It's like common sense has taken second place.
I absolutely
hate it. They talk about getting more consistency into the game. The only thing that's consistent now is controversy over technology. The only technology worth its salt for me is the goal line technology, because that's an easy one. Either the ball's crossed the line or it hasn't. Simple. We've lost something in this game. It's you can't cheer goals when you used to. You have to wait nervously for VAR. It's really bad. I just don't think it suits this sport personally. I think rugby or American football, you have natural breaks in play anyway. It works fine then. Football's supposed to be fast and free flowing at all times. We lose the spectacle with this. I think it's really bad introduction of VAR. I was bitterly against it from the start, and nothing's changed my mind. I think you pump the money into better referees. Pay them big wages. You will get people dying to become referees. That's how you get quality in. You pay the wages. Any walk of life. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. We start paying out, with the massive wages around them players. If you played referee, say 15, 20 grand a week, you're going to get an awful lot of people thinking, I'll have some of that. You'll actually have competition to referee matches rather than, we're a bit short on referees. It's a dying art now. They're struggling to get people coming in.
Dermot Gallagher said on TalkSport today that what they're trying to change is, compared to how players and managers are sort of like promoted and just given these huge promotions just straight away. Like you'll see a kid from the under 16s just being thrown straight away, like into a game. You don't see that with referees, where referees, they have to apparently put in like a certain amount of years, even if they're terrific. And even though they're doing a great job, they have to put in a certain amount of years at this level, certain amount of years at this level, certain amount of years at this level. And Dermot Gallagher was saying that they're now trying to break that up. They're actually giving guys promotions that maybe deserve them instead of forcing them to wait all these years. And maybe that would be a way to sort of change things. Or do you think that's not going to happen quick enough? That sort of thing for you, Kuba?
Well, again,
and also, would you scrap VAR? Like, is it realistic? Maybe this is a better question. Like what Dave is saying, he wants to just scrap it tomorrow. Is that a realistic thing that we can do? Can we actually just scrap it and just get rid of it for next season?
Well, they're going to keep it for the rest of the season now, aren't they? Because they'll have to now. But yeah, if it was down to me, if it was down to David as well, no, we'd literally go up there and rip it out of all stadiums. It's just like it's doing harm to the sport, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm sticking with what I said. You want to have better refereeing, pay them more money. It sounds crazy when you're talking about $2,000 a week, but when you're talking about the billions that's in the game, and this is an official that's there on prime TV, household names, they should be they should be encouraged to do that. Pay a decent wage, pay a bigger wage that reflects the job they're doing, because they are very much part of that game. It's not just the hundreds of grand a week on the players. The referees are just as important for each match. So, yeah, it's a long-term thing. They're not, if they're not getting enough decent people into the job, just make it more lucrative for them. Simple as that for me. Anyway, too much talk about referees and VAR decisions. Let's talk about title races instead.
Yeah. How good do we look, Kuba? How serious are we?
Well, I like to think of it this way. There's to dare is to do, which is fine. That can get you places. But if you really want to do something on a season like this, you've got to dare, and then you've got to dare to dream. And then you can do magical things. If that happens and we get the run of luck we've had so far, if we stay relatively injury clear, we have got breaks between matches each week that other teams won't have. Who knows? Man City just lost. Nobody expected them to lose that. Nobody expected us to beat Liverpool. Nobody expected us to get a point at the Emirates. In fact, earlier in the season, most people were expecting Man United to turn us over as well. It's not been happening. So I'm going to go with what our manager says. Dream. Let's get carried away. Let's enjoy it. As far as I'm concerned, aim high. If you fail, it's echoes of glory again. It's some of the biggest quotes that are associated with our team, isn't it? The old Danny Blanchflower quotes. I believe in all that. I think the way we're playing now and the first 11 we've got, we're a good game for anybody. If anything, the Liverpool game, the what happened with the sendings off ruined it. I actually was enjoying it when it was 11 versus 11.
Yeah.
It was a proper contest, a really open game for me.
Felt like a good opportunity to really see what we're made of, and then it was just sort of kind of cut short, and now we don't really get a real representation of it. And now we're going into, maybe I'll ask you this, Kuba. Next 5 fixtures are Luton away, Fulham at home, Palace away, Chelsea at home, and Wolves away. They're not really the same big tests like Man United, Arsenal, and Liverpool are. Are Spurs going to start cruising?
Having said that, Chelsea look like they're getting their act together this evening.
Did they win
score?
Last I saw, they were 2-0 up at Fulham, but looking good for it as well. Very much in control. That'll be typical. We play them when they finally find some wheels to put on the car. I'm so brimming with confidence on everything at the moment. I look at the next 5 games and I'm thinking 15 points. Why not? Why should we think we can't do that?
I agree.
We should be going into every match like it. It's a mentality. That's one thing Ange is doing. It's getting through to the players. A lot of the fans are getting into it as well. I certainly am. I'm 100% invested in what we're doing. And I think people are just going to, whether they go kicking and screaming, they are getting on that Ange train at some point this season, because this is fun. This is what it's all about. I am daring to dream. I'm looking big time. Just that underdog story, that 1 in a million, the long shot. Yeah. Why not? Why can't it be us? Yeah. Why have we got to rule ourselves out? No, to hell with that. The double's on. The double's on until it isn't. And if we go into January, it's still in touch with the leaders, or if we are the leaders, how about that for a thought? Then a couple of shrewd signings, keep that momentum going when we lose some players to the AFCON. Who knows? Crazy things can happen. Teams can fall apart that are doing well, us included. Few key injuries to Man City. Look what happens when just Rodri's out. They lose immediately. So same with other teams. Well, there's nobody out there that really scares me except for City. But as we've just seen, they're beatable as well. Why can't we be one of those ones that's going for it come towards the end of the season? Doesn't mean we will, but let's give it a go. That'll be insane. That'll just be absolutely crazy stuff, but that's what you live for.
I agree. I mean, look, I'm one of them. I'll go into every season believing that the impossible is possible. And so far, it's proven to me so far that it is possible. You know, we haven't lost a game. We're one of only 2 teams unbeaten. I like, as much as Spurs fans want to avoid the conversation because of years gone by and because we've been hurt by years gone by, I think this time, you know, if you're ever going to believe in a team or ever believe in a manager, I think this is the time to do it. I really do believe that. I think you're absolutely spot on. Until we're shown otherwise by this bunch of, you know, players, this squad, this manager and everything else, I think you have to believe. Yes, we can look here at things, you know, that we can't control, or we can look at things that haven't even, you know, come back to haunt us yet. Like, everyone goes, oh, what if we get injuries? I mean, half of our forward line, if not majority of it, was injured against Liverpool. We still rolled Son and Maddison out there even though they weren't fit, and we still got over the line. Now, when any other team does that, everyone says, oh, they're title contenders, or, oh, that's what a good team does, you know, this, that, and the other. As soon as Tottenham do it, I just don't get it. I don't get it personally.
I'll just hope we stay as the underdogs and everybody writing us off and telling us we can't do it the whole season. It suits us brilliantly. Enjoying every single point we get.
It's one thing my dad said to me yesterday, Kuba, that you know, the good thing to come out of this game is that still no one's talking about Tottenham. It's all about the referees. You know, no one's talking about Tottenham. Before you know it, they'll only wake up when we're at the Chelsea game. We're still unbeaten.
Yeah, indeed. Let it carry on that way. It's really working for us. No expectations yet. We're doing it all. We are fine. Like you said, Man City find a way. People say that's what champions do. We're finding a way. Might not always be pretty, but we're still finding a way, and we're still in there. Only a point behind. Why not? This is an exciting season. It was always going to be. Just I think at the start, you know, relegation candidates. We lost our star player in the summer. Everything against us. Oh no, Spurs can't do anything. Spursy. That word got used again earlier this season. Don't see that this time, unless Spursy means resilience and keep going. That's what we're doing.
Anyway, we're redefining Spursy.
Yeah,
we are, and it's all centered around this manager of ours. What a breath of fresh air! This is the manager we've always wanted and didn't know it.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Well said.
He's the real deal. But Kuba, what's going on at Three Spurs Boys, man? Why do people need to get over and listen and support?
Well, we just did a show this last Saturday. Did the ladies' night. It went a bit sort of rowdy with the lasses on Mia and Ellie and Kate, and do a few silly games and things like that. But we're doing it every other week, so it won't be one on this Saturday. With Saturday after. But other than that, I'll be on Ben's Coffee Shop with Bobby Kay and Ben Kaufman on Wednesday doing Brewing Bollocks, which is another little get away from football. It's just a chill out little stream, bit of fun amongst the friends. That's all it is, really.
Nice one.
And I'd assume Shelfside Spurs on Thursday night again. Nice. So there's a lot of channels I'm around now, but as I said, this season I wanted to get back in touch with my roots, and you know, it was David that first convinced me to go on to fan channels and, you know, actually put my face on screen. So so it's his fault if you don't like it, all right?
No, look, I'm absolutely buzzing to have you back around, my man. You know, it's an absolute joy to have you around. And, you know, having you, I think, you know, through the time of supporting Spurs, I think this is the first time I've seen you sort of sit there and say, you know what, why can't we? You know, I know you've always said about the quadruple, but you've also always been a bit more realistic and stuff like that. But this season, I like the fact that you're like, you know,
this season, I'm ruling nothing out this season.
Yeah.
There's something really, really special about Ange Postecoglou. And is it a season too early? Is it a couple of seasons too early? Maybe. Right now, though, it's about how you feel about your team, and I just feel like we're unbeatable. I feel like bring them all on. Take them all. Real Madrid, Arsenal, United, City, all at the same time. Line them all up.
Line them up.
Well, they do say we play the way we want to, Kuva, so line them up, my man. But look, big yourself up. Great to have you back around, and we'll speak again very soon.
Good call, sir.
Thanks for having me on. Cheers.
Nice one.
Thank you, my man. See you soon, brother.
See you soon.
That was a good call.
Bye-bye. Great call from Kuba. One thing I do want to just quickly touch on, where he says about the Spursy tag, and look, this is something hasn't really been mentioned over the weekend. You know, in games gone by where we were going into the weekend, and you know, big teams that played before us and slipped up, usually we'd get stage fright and fuck up ourselves. This time around, we went out there and we got the result. We got the job done and got the points on the board. So there are a lot of things that are changing from the past, and we are redefining Spursy. So absolutely love it. Great calling. And then we've got Moondog here.
He was suggesting that we get rid of the fourth official, that they serve no purpose. Is the fourth official the VAR official, or is the fourth official the one that stands between the managers? Isn't that the one
that does the substitute board?
That guy, I actually think, does serve a purpose, Moondog, because he's the one that's supposed to be keeping Arteta in his box, and he's the one that's supposed to be keeping Klopp from. Yeah, I guess they don't really do a very good job, so maybe we need a better one. But for me, I feel like the fourth official does serve some type of purpose, Moondog, and that they should be doing a better job at controlling the benches and controlling the managers and sort of their outbursts and everything. But at least recently, they still aren't really doing as good of a job as they're supposed to be, especially I think Arteta. I don't know how he is still getting away with what he does in that touchline and in that sort of manager's box, but I don't know. Moondog, for me, I'm actually going to keep the fourth official. I actually think they should be serving a purpose. Whether they're actually serving that purpose is another question.
No, it's not the fourth official we need to be looking at. It's for me, I just think the technology has confused a lot of things. I think it's making referees scared and everything else. But look, beat the four. Moondog, what you got against the four official?
What did they do to you? What did they do to you? Paz Radfar saying 3-1 Spurs. Always, it's good to see you in the house, Paz. And he says, to dream, we need Levy to help Ange in January. For me, I think we need a left back. I don't think we're going to get away with Ben Davies in case something happens to Udogie or we need to get Udogie a rest. Need a new left back, and we need more center backs. I trust Ashley Phillips to step in, but I still feel like we need somebody with more experience, just somebody that will be able to sort of at least try their best to bring what Van de Ven or Romero do. I don't expect them to be nearly as good as those two, but we can't have it where the drop-off is that or is that considerable. So for me, I think center back and a left back is kind of a must. If you don't sell Højbjerg, I think you could get away with not needing another midfielder because you have Bentancur coming back, you have Pop Matasar, you have other kind of, you have Gio Lo Celso, you have Jamie Donnelly in the academy, you have good midfielders, at least in my opinion. And then maybe you could think about another signing up top, but I think for me, it has to be left back and center back this summer or this January.
Yeah, look. I think Faz Radfar is right. Look, for me, I've said this already. Just keep going to where we're going till January. Hand it back over to Daniel Levy. Then we'll know exactly what his intentions are for Tottenham Hotspur with the position we're in. So let's wait and see. But look, I think they would go again in the summer. Or in January. I think they'll get another centre back. I do think we should look at a backup left back, but I think Reguilon's long to be up there as well, so he could be back here. So, look, let's wait and see what happens. But look, let's just get it to January 1st, my man, and then we can talk about transfers, Faz. Let's just concentrate on the football while we have it. Big yourself up, brother.
Let's keep that record intact.
Then there's a guy called Ewan in the comments. He's saying, Dave, it was against 9 men. Care. I didn't ask anyone to get sent off. That was their choice. So I don't care. I don't care if it was against 7 men. At the end of the day, we beat Liverpool. We made them cry. We've united the whole Premier League against Tottenham. All we had to do was go on an unbeaten road to show how much no one wants Tottenham to win anything. And we've upset the apple cart and no one likes it because they wanted a Man City Liverpool title challenge. Well, guess what? Ange Postecoglou's in town. So are Tottenham with all of our new signings. And we're also in the race. Like it or lump it, I don't care, but go and deal with it. 9 men couldn't give a shit. Could be 11 men. In fact, actually, you're up against 12 men as well, so enjoy that one. But at the end of the day, we got the job done. 3 points is 3 points. I do not care. They all count for the exact same thing on the points board. It doesn't matter. At the end of the season, when you look at the points tally, you don't go, oh, fuck me, we played fantastic for them 3 points. You don't care. They all mean the same thing. 3 points is 3 points. So... But you know what? Keep embarrassing your Liverpool fan base. Keep doing it. I encourage you.
Brad Matthews saying opposition supporter writing us off. Long may it continue. I think that's how Dave is feeling about it right now, my man. Let's go on to the next guest of the evening. Let's see what he has to say. Ribsy 85. He's been waiting patiently. Come on,
Let's
Ribsy.
bring him on and chat about this great victory against the 9 men of Liverpool. Ribsy, how are you keeping, my man?
Yeah, good lads. How are yous?
I'm buzzing.
Right.
Loved it.
Feeling unbeaten.
So I
feeling unbeaten. What is feeling unbeaten? Maybe let's go to that feeling then, Ribsy. Do you feel like a title contender?
Okay, so in the last fan show, I said that someone said 3-1, and I said if we won 3-1, then I'd be all in. I'd be saying we'd be title contenders, absolutely. So, I mean, with the result, I honestly think that it's possible if that game had stayed 11 versus 11 and the game had continued as it felt like it was playing, we very well could have won 3-1.
Of course,
yeah. It felt as though, you know, it was an even game. It was going to be a good game, and you know, despite my feelings on the red card, which in my opinion was absolutely a red card under the rules of the game as they are, and I appreciate what Kuba was saying that maybe the rules should be different because, you know, there are some factors that we should just allow the game to play. And, you know, accidents happen when people are actually trying to play properly and you know, sometimes things happen. But under the rules, it's a red card. I don't really understand the controversy over it because it's clearly a red card. But if the game had continued in without that, I think we would have done better. I think it would have been a good win. So in answer to your question, which was whether I think we're title contenders, well, I mean, at this point of the season, which is an early time to be talking about titles. But if you're going to talk about titles right now, we're right up there. And there's no reason why, if things don't continue, we should be, which is really exciting for me. That said, as much as I love to see players like Donnelly on our bench during a big match like Liverpool, looking at that bench, if we've got injuries, that title chance and hope disappears very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's basically where we're at. And we're in, you know, October. So it's probable we're going to lose some of those players.
Where it usually goes wrong, actually, Ribsy, right? Yeah. That's traditionally where it goes wrong. It went wrong under Jose, went wrong under Conte. You know, will we survive this period?
Oh, no.
Well, have you seen the footage of Sonny after he goes off in the Liverpool game and he sits down on the bench? And he looks like he's been hit by a truck. He's in a lot of pain.
Yeah, he had his hand in his head, or his head in his hands, kind of as well. Like it looked like he was in pain or something. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know whether that, you know, like this is an injury that he's sort of managing or something, or whether he was just exhausted from, you know, mentally and physically from trying to, you know, win a football match. So of course it could be a million things, but there's going to be situations where, you know, when Sonny and Matters and Van der Ven and the players that are really making this season happen for us at the moment, when they can't play, what happens? Because, you know, I've got a lot of respect for even players that are sort of out of favor at Spurs. Like I see a lot of virtues in players like Skip and Højbjerg and stuff, but because they're not in that first 11, they don't have that sort of feeling of responsibility and that commitment to it that those players that are getting all those minutes really seem to have to our results at the moment. So
does that not really then resemble why they're out of the team in the first place, right?
Sure, of course, but I mean, they're still in the team, aren't they? So we got to deal with them. So and they got to have, you know, like our guys, our first 11. Well, exactly. No, of course they are. But my point is that we're going to have times when our first 11 can't play, and who's coming in, you know, and if the people coming in aren't getting the results or aren't playing properly, then we're not going to be title contenders. We're just not, you know. So that sucks. So that's the responsibility of the recruitment team, I suppose, to make some changes there. But you know, then we're going to go back into recruitment talk, which is all about trying to get offload some of these players, and also we've got registration requirements that we need to keep a lot of these players as well. So I don't know.
You're saying,
what can you do,
Dave? Sorry, what are you about to say?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, I was gonna ask you. You feel like we were gonna win that game if it was 11 versus 11, but the moment it came 9 versus 11, it didn't look like we were gonna win that game. So why was that, Ribsy?
I think that this is something. I mean, and I'm not trying to give Ange any shit, because obviously I love Ange. Being an Australian Spurs fan, it'd be pretty hard for me not to be a huge fan. But I'm trying to stay grounded about it. It didn't look as though we organized anything for the eventuality that we went up a man advantage, and then 2-man advantage was even more confusing to them. So Ange was really animated on the sideline trying to get players forward. He was and he was basically coaching in the game, which is ideally not what you want. I mean, I would say that this week is probably one of those situations where they go, okay, guys, we're going to work on what we do when we get a man advantage, because it can't be whatever that was, And I said during the watch along, that second half was some of the most, it was just frustrating bad football for a lot of it. And
I was borderline going to cry.
Yeah.
Seriously, I was.
It was stressful, and it was a little bit embarrassing, because you feel like it's 9 players. But the thing is, and this is the thing that, this is probably Liverpool fans will want to hear this sort of thing, but there is a truth to it. They were still 9 Liverpool players out there. They're freaking good at what they do. Like, these are not bad footballers. They closed down, and none of our guys could get any space. We were being forced to take long shots. Any sort of deflection that came out of their box, they had the ball and they were away with it, and they were making counterattacks. They did everything that they could. And they played, as much as we played worse when we went, with a 2-man advantage, they played better. And they really did. They
just on that, Ribsy,
what it was, good job.
Like, look, credit, right? They've done a job. Well, did they really? Because the game's 90+ minutes in stoppage time and they switched off. So I question that a little. But look,
fair enough.
I also question it to a degree, because I struggle to praise them for something that they ridiculed us for doing the year we got Champions League, right? Klopp moaned about parking the bus, sitting players behind the ball. Then all of a sudden they're sitting there praising it. I'm scratching my head. I mean, it's a bit contradictory.
No, you're absolutely right. I guess I'm just trying to do the bigger man thing, because I just don't really. I don't
do that over here.
Well,
I can't.
I just don't put any value in what Klopp says when he rubbishes other teams, because he just comes across as like a petulant child. Like, he's like, they didn't just walk aside and let us kick the ball in the goal. Like, how dare they? That's not football. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I just don't. I don't listen to what he has to say. I feel as though the general opinion of Liverpool fans and football fans in general is just higher than what his opinions are. So, I mean, he's clearly a very good manager, and whether it's just media strategy or whatever, then that's great. That's something different. But no, don't. It's like listening to Neville talk about football. He's just an idiot. Like, listening to him go on about.
I'm the only one that likes him as a pundit.
What's that?
I think I'm the only one that likes that guy as a pundit.
He's a muppet, man. Listen to him talk about that red card. He's talking about how there's no intent and there's no malice, so therefore it can't be a red card. It's like, have you even read the rule? Because the rule is only 2 fucking sentences, man. It's not that long. It's not like legislation or something. It's just 2 sentences, and the word malice and the word intent are not fucking in it. So what are you talking about? Like, if you're going to sit there and just complain, I mean, if he's saying that the rule should be different, I understand that. That's a totally different thing, and that's what Kuba was talking about. And I almost agree with that. The rules should be different, but the rule doesn't say that. It just says reckless and so on. So I could read it out if you want, but it's really not that long. You can Google it. It's
Does it show, though, that the rest of the Premier League is after us and the rest of the Premier League is against us, that we're seeing Man United and Liverpool come together in this sort of decision? Gary Neville sounded like Jamie Carragher. He sounded like a Liverpool ex-player, on the commentary with how aggrieved it looked. And we're hearing things like this was the worst refereeing display in Premier League history, Ribsy. So
it was a bad offside call, is what it was. it was clearly onside, and it should have been a goal. That was the only decision in that game, in my opinion, that was overtly in error. The people who are saying that Jota's first yellow shouldn't have been a yellow obviously didn't remember or see his fouls leading up to that foul. And that foul is, I don't know what,
some
what
said that
people
was
in football call
accumulation,
it.
actually.
Yeah, accumulation.
Well, if it was accumulation, then it's definitely a yellow. And if even if it wasn't, the run up the doggy, there's a, I don't know what you call it in football. In rugby, we'd call it an ankle tap, which is where basically you swipe someone's one leg into the other as they're running, and they've got, because they're running at full pace, they don't have any control, and it crosses their ankles and they fall over. And they're saying, oh, you know, he fell over on his own, there was no contact. It's like, he's a grown man who's a footballer who knows how to run. He doesn't cross his feet over while he's not a baby giraffe. I mean, for Christ's sake, like, obviously he was, you know,
something made him trip himself.
Contact,
something made him trip
exactly.
himself.
He didn't just have like an inner, you know, didn't just have a brain injury while in full gallop and then fall over.
Yeah. And he doesn't have a Sanchez history of slipping either. So there's
exactly.
That too.
If it was Sanchez, then I'd just say, well, it's very likely.
You never know.
It
could have just been the area slipping him up, but not the case with our Manu Dogi. Another question though for you, Ribsy, and then Dave might have one more for you. But do you feel like VAR has improved over the last 3 to 4 years, or do you think it's just kind of in the same place it once was? It's just never really improved. It's never gotten better.
It hasn't improved. Look, it's one of those things. We lump all the different technology types and reasons for VAR's use into one thing. And as others were saying, there's some things that are really black and white, which clearly, you know, any sort of referee assistance with cameras, you know, is a great thing. For example, goal line technology. Offside, I every time I see that semi-automated technology or the automated technology in action in different leagues and in international football, it really impresses me how that works, because you see the representation with the graphics and it shows how it was offside, and you go, okay, well, it didn't look like that to me, but obviously the technology is, you know, looking at it from a straight on angle and I'm looking at it from a television angle, which is totally different. So I understand that. But then when we're just allowing people to make decisions in the VAR box about offside, obviously they can get it wrong because they're human beings, you know. So, but from what I understand, there was a miscommunication between the referee on the field and the VAR. It wasn't really so much as the guy in the box thought it was offside. It was that the referee asked him to check and he said, it's all good, or something like that. And so the on-field decision was offside. So he went basically, okay, so it's offside, and continue on. Whereas basically what the VAR was telling him was that it was onside, it's a goal. But because there's no proper process in how they ask for the decision and the answer that they get, there was a miscommunication. Even though they were literally being told the right thing, that it was a goal, they went on and called it no goal because that was the on-field decision. So in something like rugby or in cricket, they'll ask like, okay, the on-field decision is offside. Is there any reason why that decision should be changed, or something like that? And then the VAR or the video ref or whatever comes back and says, well, actually it was onside, so reverse the decision. But because he probably just went, oh, hey, Jeff, can you check that one for me or whatever? And he goes, oh, yeah, it was all right. Like, what the fuck is that? It's just amateur shit, you know, like and that's why, from what I understand, Liverpool's trying to get their hands on the actual verbal communication between, and that's the kind of thing that, despite the fact that this is a Liverpool and Spurs thing, that's the kind of thing where, yeah, if we hear that communication between them and it is that unprofessional, then yeah, that should be changed. That should very quickly be changed, where they have to ask in a specific way and get a specific answer to make a decision. And that's the kind of thing that would improve it. But this is something that VAR has been in the game for a long time now. And if they're still making rookie mistakes like that, that's pathetic. That's, as you were saying, these guys are paid a lot of money and they should know what they're doing. And if I was imagine if these guys were, you know, train conductors or something, and that was their, you know, their level of professionalism. It's just pathetic.
My problem is there's been so many reviews after every single season on how to improve it, how to, you know, get it working properly. And despite all the reviewing process, they still can't implement it right. And for me now, it's just becoming more of a nuisance, and it's become the talking point of football, when the beautiful game should be the talking points. And that's why, for me, I say scrap it. I do understand all the arguments that if you trained referees or you had younger referees and improved things here and there, yes, you'll see an improvement. But I still think as long as it's in the game, it'll be the talking point. I think it overshadows everything else that goes on. But look, Ribsy, great call. A lot of people really, really enjoyed your takes. Please keep coming back and speaking to us, my man. And go into the day, your whole day ahead of you, knowing we're unbeaten.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
See you on the weekend, guys.
Make you
See you
feel
on the weekend, Ribsy.
Come on, Ribsy.
Nice one. Come on, you Spurs. See you, Ribsy.
Absolute legend. Still got the great haircut going on. The
hairline's looking good still.
With the beard trim. When I'm over in Australia, if I ever make it there, because I'm afraid of the snakes and spiders and all, I definitely need to hit up that barber for sure.
Yes, sir. Nice one, Dave. Definitely. He needs to give you the Ribsy. He needs to give you the Ribsy special.
That could be a haircut, you know. You might get a few people walking in going, give me the Ribsy.
But let's move on to another man of another sound, a very well-spoken man. We're going on to Michael out in Poland, going all over the
Big
world.
Nick. Let's hear what you have to say. Big up, Michael.
Big up, lads. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, my man. Just in basking this winning feeling, you know, surfing it until it's over. How are you?
Yeah, brilliant. Like in terms of the win, I'm really happy. But you know, I came here all smiling, etc. But I have to say one thing. I have to make one statement to all the racist fucks in Udoji's comment section under his Instagram post. Fuck you. You are a disgrace. You are a waste of oxygen. I'm done with this topic, okay? I don't want to talk about people being childish and fucking insecure about their team losing. Shit happens, guys. Move on. Don't be a cunt. Sorry. I know I shouldn't be saying that.
No, I understand.
There is no other way for me to describe people like this, right? It's just disgraceful for me. He's just a player, you know. Don't go at him for losing that game. Go at the VAR officials, go at the referees, and go at your own players for being dumb and getting sent off. That's the issue that lost you this game, not Udoji. And don't be racist towards the guy, because like it's just so like I don't know. I'm just disgusted with people like this.
You should be.
That's just
sadly it's something we've had to deal with on more than one occasion though this season, Michael. It's something that's already happened to us more than one occasion, and I think it's something that needs to be rooted out. And I think Spurs actually do a very good job about it. I just hope that other clubs, you know, do a better job about it. And there's only so much that we can do in the moment, but it's about how you handle it afterwards, right? And hopefully they handle it afterwards in the right and proper way. You can't prevent the guy from doing it, but once he does it, you have to punish him to the fullest extent. And hopefully that's what they do here.
Yeah.
Onto the match though, Michael. I sort of have been asking people, is there anything we can learn from it? Because it was sort of ruined after the red cards, at least in my opinion. Plenty were saying I liked it when it was 11 versus 11. It kind of got ruined when it became 9 versus 11. Do you agree with that? Would you rather they just didn't get sent off and it just stayed 11 versus 11?
Part of me agrees with that, right? Because I was so hyped for this match because I actually believe that even though I kind of felt like we are going to draw or lose, I just have this feeling about Liverpool this season. There is something like cooking there, and you know I'm so happy that we won against them, right?
But it boiled over though, Michael.
Yeah, basically it was cooking with the lid on, and it boiled over, right? But yeah, I had a feeling that we are going to give them a really, really good game, and it's going to be enjoyable as hell, right? And let's be honest, like. Even 11 against 10, I still enjoyed this game fully, right? I still think this game was cracking, right? And listen, like, we can like criticize Liverpool, we can laugh at them, but one thing I have to admit, they were bloody brilliant in defending. I know maybe it's easy to say that they just packed the box, that low blocked and defended, right? But I actually think they were doing a marvelous job. Like at that, right? They were doing it really well. It also was a bit of us not having like many ideas how to break them down. I think we weren't doing the most like crucial thing that you do against like teams when you have advantage, which is create overloads wide, right? When you are playing against 10 men, and especially 9, you just have to stretch this defense and put the balls behind them, right? And we weren't doing that. I just felt like we were trying too hard to push through the middle, where they were just packing everything. And also there was absolutely no point in crossing the ball into the box. They had all 3 of their center backs, which each and every one of them is like 1.90 m, and we had Solomon on the pitch and Poro on the pitch. There was no way they are getting at the end of those crosses, right? So I just had a feeling we didn't really have an idea. But listen, scrap that, right? I enjoyed this game fully up until the second red card, right? And yeah.
Are you worried that Spurs can't break down low blocks, with this 9-man defense, or do you think that was just that game?
A bit, but I don't think. Like what I want to say is, even though Liverpool don't play low blocks, right? They don't play with a low block. That doesn't mean that their defenders aren't still the best out there, right? And when they were low blocking, like it's hard to break down a team consisting of like Konate, Van Dijk, Matip, who I think had a brilliant game up until the own goal, right? And also Robertson and Trent, or Gomez before him, right? This is a really, really solid backline, right? So I think we will do well against low block teams. I just feel like Ange has to take his time in teaching this team how to play against different types of opposition. And I don't blame him for our team not really having like many ideas against low block teams, right? Because let's face it, majority of the teams in the Premier League aren't low block teams, so we prioritize teaching them how to play against presses, how to play against teams playing high up, right? I think it will come with time, and I'm not really scared, but that's basically it. I'm not really scared of low blocks, right? But
I just want to come in on that. Look, Ange Postecoglou was screaming from the sidelines on the weekend, right? And you could see his displeasure at it. But for me, that's not down to coaching. When it's 11v11 and you're purposely going out there to put up against a low block, yes, that's down to coaching during the week and tactics. But in game, that's on the players on the field. And what sort of concerns me a little is that no player really stood up and started organizing people and telling people, right, no one went to Basuma and said, you have to speed it up. You've got to be quicker. And that for me is in-game management from the players. And that sort of, no one stuck their head above the power pit and really sort of grabbed that and that's what concerns me a little. And I think in games going forward like that, I think you might see more of the same if you don't have that player on the pitch that's willing to step up, see the game for what it is, and has that brain and starts telling people, get on the overlap, get on the outside, start moving it quicker. That has to come from within the pitch as well.
Yeah, I agree with your point, David, but I also think like what you notice there is an effect of our team being young and relatively inexperienced. If you look at it, Son was taken off already when they went down to 9 men. And I think Maddison also was either taken off just before the red card or just after the red card, right? So technically, we didn't have like Perisic to come on and command the team, right? I think Romero as a defender, maybe like he could shout something, but I think we just lacked an experienced head in the middle of the pitch telling people what to do, right? Bissouma was also taken off. Maybe Højbjerg should have been that person. And to be honest, what you also pointed out was that when Højbjerg came on, whenever he got the ball, he actually did the proper thing, just stretching out the play, right? But again, it's not my criticism of Ange. I'm actually trying to excuse it, right? I'm actually trying to say that.
And I'm the opposite. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that that's something we need in the future because definitely. There is going to be big games that there's going to come around again, and that's something that someone needs to take control of.
Yeah. And I think it will come, right? I think this team has to listen. They played 8 games together, right? This team, majority of the team is new, right? So I think even though I might not be happy with what I saw on the pitch necessarily, especially when they went down to 9 men, I'm not going to like go overboard with it, right? If we were like 2 years down the process, right, and we've seen what we saw on the weekend, right, I would be really concerned. But right now, I'm willing to give them many excuses, right, because they just started, and I think it will. I have faith in Ange that it will come with time, that they will know what to do in those certain situations, and also those players will gain a lot more experience, right, playing all that time, right? And also, like as I mentioned, I think we are really like treading the line with Maddison and Son. I feel like they are both like on the verge of getting injured, and I'm really worried about this, right? And of course, like they are already called up for the international, break, whatever the fact. Like Son is playing 2 friendlies, and let me tell you, he will probably play both, right? Because that's the way it is, and it's absolutely stupid for me that he has to go there and play in a friendly, meaningless friendly, right? But yeah, I think we are totally like walking the line with them, and I'm afraid for them, right? Because whenever we lose one of them, or even both of them, which is even worse, right? We kind of lose that leadership, that idea, that like source of ideas, how to break down a team, how to play, where like we lose that leadership, right?
We lose that. Yeah.
Tekken just quickly says, does Michael remember our famous Gregor Radziak? I do. He was fucking useless.
Yes. Actually, funny story with Radziak, right? Or Radziak. First time I've ever come onto any show was We Are Tottenham TV, and 1.5 years ago, right? And I introduced myself. I said I'm from Poland, right? And Ben went like, "Oh, so we are a big fan of Grzegorz Radziak or whatever," and I had no fucking clue who that is. So I just sat there like, "Oh shit! Like, am I supposed to know who that is, right?" Like, and especially because like, the pronunciation in Polish is a bit different than how English people say it, right? So he said it the English way, and I was like, "Who the hell is that?" Right? And Ben was like, "Okay, never mind. Just let's talk about I think we're talking about the transfer window, right, or something." So yeah, it's like the story with him, right? But yeah, like coming back to the game, by the way, because I know we've talked a lot about the refereeing, VAR, etc., right? I think like the decision for the offside was absolutely scandalous, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. Why wasn't it given, right? But I think that both red cards were deserved. I understand the like arguments for Jota's first yellow, right? And I understand that they can be like, not that Liverpool fans can be upset about him getting the first yellow, right? But the first yellow doesn't, whether it was or not, it doesn't excuse the second foul, right? And if you are on a yellow card, you cannot do such fouls, right? So for me, the second yellow was absolutely right. He gets sent off, right? And like the Joe Gomez thing, or sorry, not Joe Gomez. What was the guy's name that got sent off?
Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones, right? I actually think like I completely get the arguments of like in the spirit of the game, etc., right? And that he didn't injure him, right? But does it have to take him breaking Bissouma's leg to get sent off in that situation, right? I think still whether the tackle was intentional, whether the tackle was like, whether there was malicious intent or not, that was a really fucking dangerous tackle, right, to make. Because like whether he slipped or not, by the way, he didn't slip. Like he just lost the ball and lunged at it with his studs up, right? And he just rolled over the ball and planted his studs into the sorry, what that part is called in English?
Shin. Yeah.
He planted his like foot studs up into the shin. My father like had his ACLs torn with that exact same challenge, right? He got kicked in the shin, and his like ACLs at the back of his knee just popped, right? And he had to take an operation. He couldn't walk for like 4 or 5 months, right? So yeah, it's absolutely like ridiculous for me trying to excuse that challenge, like excuse in terms of like Liverpool fans saying that he slipped or whatever, right? That doesn't change the fact that he absolutely like clattered Bissouma's shin, right? That cannot go, right? It was too dangerous of a tackle to just be let go and be left with a yellow or no penalty given for me, right? A penalty in terms of like card or whatever.
Do you know what? When it comes to a lot of these pundits and that, I really wouldn't give a, I sort of, I take away a bit of pinch of salt, because they're the same pundits that I remember years ago saying that referees need to clamp down on some of these challenges, whether they're meant or not, that you shouldn't have to wait for a leg to be broken for these decisions to be made. And now that they're clamping down on them, now they're saying, "Oh, you're taking out the physicality of the game," which, look, I agree to. I think, look, if that was given against me, I'd probably smash the tunnel up. I probably would. I'll be honest. I'd be absolutely raging if that was given against me. However, it's what they asked for, so I don't understand why they're crying.
That's how it is now.
Yeah. Like for me, I don't know if you watched the Chelsea versus Villa game, but Malo Gusto did the same, pretty much exactly
that
the
was
same
harsh
thing,
as
right?
well.
Yeah, it was harsh, right? But if you set a precedent and you want consistency, right, then if that thing was a red card, then this thing has to be.
And they are being consistent then.
Yeah. That's the same thing.
Well,
that
they didn't give the one on Vicario, so they're not being that.
Yeah, but at least they are attempting, right? That's also why I'm pissed off about the Romero situation in United and Arsenal game. Like, let's not dig up that kind of worms, right? But there was no consistency there, but the situations were really like similar in my opinion, right? But with VAR, I'm kind of on a, like, let's say, lighter opinion in terms of VAR. I think the idea like of VAR is really good. The implementation is fucking horrendous in England, right? I think that the idea of like another set of referees sitting like in a quiet place watching the game and actually able to analyze the game, right? I think the idea is good to correct like some grievous mistakes, right? But I think the implementation with all the waiting, like failed communication, all that bullshit line drawing, that why the hell is it? Like, why the hell are they drawing the lines if we have an automated offside system that we tested during the World Cup? That's absolutely ridiculous for me, right? Like, there is so many ways that we could speed up the process and actually like standardize the process, that I think if it was like at the perfect stage that it can be, I think it would be a good thing for the game, right? But with this current implementation, I think it's absolutely horrendous. And I have to like point it out also, guys. Like, England is up, like English referees and English football, they are absolutely fucking shit at doing VAR, right? I'm sorry, but I sometimes watch like Polish league, I watch German league, I watch like, like I have friends that watch their, all national leagues. We have VAR
and it's
here.
better elsewhere.
There is not as much controversy. And I also understand the fact that Premier League is faster, right? But it's not like it's like 200% faster. It's not like in the Premier League we have Usain Bolts running around and in Poland we have grandmas, right, running around. I get that English football is faster, but I still think. Oh, sorry, what's up?
I think Dave might be frozen. Yeah, I think he's frozen. So
right?
Michael, you're making kind of final point. Maybe you're kind of saying like, referee, I actually would say your Polish referee is in fact the one I really like. That bald guy, like looks like a gym bro kind of guy. Like he looks great. Like, I think he's been terrific. So why is it that Poland have one of the best referees in the world, but it feels like England cannot produce one of the best?
Riddle me that, Jack. I don't know. We have a referee that refereed the Champions League final and the World Cup final in the same year, right? And he was chosen by like some huge committee.
I think he is the best right now.
Yeah, it's like. And clearly, like, when you look at him, he actually makes decisions faster than like an average English referee. He's more like imposing in terms of like not giving crap. Like, the players run up to him and he just stares at them like that, and they just back off, the decision is made, right? I also think that he makes a lot more like good decisions compared to the English refereeing, right? And also, like, one thing that I kind of want to feel a bit bad for those referees, because I feel like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Jack, but sometimes when you fuck up, right, and someone points out your mistake, and then you have to go out and do your job again,
It makes you more
those
nervous about doing it the
makes
second
you
time
more
again.
nervous, and mistakes happen again, right? And they
Yes.
happen again, and it sometimes just spirals out of control. And
Like
I feel
getting back on the horse after falling can be really scary for a lot of people. Like, or getting
exactly,
into an
right.
accident and then driving again can be really scary for a lot of people. It is similar, and you have to, as a referee, you need to be confident in the decisions you're making. You need to feel assured in what you're doing. You have to be fully sort of convinced that this is the right decision, even if it ends up being the wrong one later. You have to have that sort of authority in your confidence, because then that's how you get authority from the rest of the players, and the rest of the just organization is just by being assured in yourself. And it's a tough one, because the more we scrutinize them, are they going to be as assured in their their decisions? Probably not. Let's be honest, probably not. But I don't know. I don't have sympathy for that either, because I think they do need to be pointed out, that they made a mistake.
Yeah, I have no issues with pointing out the mistake, right? I like the only part of me sympathizing with those referees is that there is so much spotlight right now on them. There is so much, criticism, so much hate, so much it really spiraled out of control, in my opinion. Right now, it's so on the edge that those referees are, but they are, as you said, they are basically panicked. They are not sure in their own decisions. They are not imposing their authority on the game in the right way, right? They are trying to impose the authority with showing yellow cards for absolutely stupid things, right?
Yeah.
But it just makes people more angry, more pissed off with the decisions, right? It's not done the right way, right? And I know, because you have to move on, right? But I just want to quickly throw my 3 cents about the whole the whole title chat. I'm instead of going from zeros to ones, I try to, keep it in the middle, right? So for me, I think overall, not only in terms of us, I think overall it's a bit too early to determine whether someone is a title challenger or not. And the example I would give is that Villa are sitting 2 points behind us, right? So technically Villa is also in a title race. And you can go as far down as to Newcastle, or even if you really want to be generous, you can include Palace, who are sitting on 11 points. There is only 7-point gap from them to first, right? So I think it's a bit too fast to determine if we are title challengers or not. I also think we have a really good set of fixtures now, but our December is absolutely horrific, right? But I want to say one thing. Because, I came into this season without many expectations. I expected us to fight for Europe, whatever it is, right? And that's still my expectation, right? And I still would be happy even if we finished 6th or 7th, right? I would be happy that we got back into Europe, right? But if at the end of December we are 3rd, 4 points off City or something, right? Imagine that situation. Then going into the January window, I will be looking at the club, and I want them to realize the opportunity that will present themselves, that will be presented to them, right? If we are 4 points of City after December, I think this team needs, it won't be perfect. They won't absolutely shore up this team to fight for a title up until the end. But I think if they show intention that they buy a center back, they buy a Maddison replacement in terms of the backup, right, to Maddison. They buy maybe one more player, sell Højbjerg, sell Dyer, whatever, right? Then my expectations might change, right? For me, it's a bit too early, and I get the point that Kuba made, for example, that if our manager tells us to dream, that maybe we should start dreaming, right? For me, it's a bit too early. But I am super hyped about what's going on right now, and I am willing to change my stance on it. Right, for me, it's just a bit too early.
Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it while it's here. That's what I say to everybody. Very quickly could turn, as we've seen in years gone by. So while it's here, enjoy it. But Michael, absolutely great call. Love talking to you, my man, and we'll speak to you again very, very soon.
See you soon.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Have a good night.
See you soon, Michael.
Bye
bye, my man.
Sweet
Bye-bye.
dreams. Ange Ball.
Great calling. Love speaking to Michael. Always got some good points to say. He needs to believe a bit more, though, is what I would say. Just believe a little bit. bit more, Michael.
No fence sitting, Dave. Yeah, Dave doesn't like the fence sitting anymore. You got to
not
pick your
this year.
side.
It's not the time for it. If I can stick my head, above the stand about the recruitment when times are bad and everything else, I want people to back the team now that they're getting the team we wanted.
Everybody, please smash that like button if you haven't already. We're down to our last 3 guests here. If you have stuck with us this whole time, we do really appreciate it. You're all absolute legends, but keep getting in your comments. And also as well, like I said, smash that like button if you haven't already enjoyed or if you haven't already smashed it already. But please, let's welcome in the next guest. We have one and only KPV, fresh off letting out the dogs against Liverpool.
Let's get him on.
Oh,
big up KPV. How are you, my man?
Good, man. I'm still buzzing from the result, and we finally sent Moon Clark home with no points, as Paul said. And I loved what he said. Sonny's gonna slip or flip Virgil van Pancake, and I loved what he said. And yeah, he done it, and they can quote what they want. Like, have they not seen the rules? Like, they can moan about Diaz's goal, but offside. Like, just deal with it and move on. Like, they're not getting a replay. Like, we want a replay from Champions League final then if they want it, but they're not getting it. And get over it. Like, they're not going to win the appeal against Curtis Jones' red card because they've had 4 red cards, and yeah, they had McAllister's overturned, and Don got 2 red cards, including that Everton game, and then Chelsea before Christmas under Mourinho, but overturned and then not overturned. So they're not getting this one overturned, that's for sure. They're not having it overturned. So don't know why they're appealing. And what options are they on about? They want a rematch. No chance. They're not getting it. Get over it. It's not done over.
KPV, you've seen plenty of football matches. You've seen plenty. That was seen as, according to plenty, the worst refereeing game in history. Was that the worst refereeing game in history for you, KPV?
Nah, not really. Good decision by whoever.
Good decisions, right?
It's a good decision, and Danny posted a few pictures on Twitter from the last few games we played against Liverpool, and we've had decisions go against us. Like, as I said, Champions League final, Sissoko never handballed it. It touched his armpit, and the VAR didn't have a look. So that was justice for Sissoko, and Jota should have been sent off last year in April this year against Tottenham.
That's
He
right.
kicked Skip in the head, and Skip could have died, but he didn't get sent off. Like, seriously.
Why does Jota love these nasty challenges against Tottenham?
Know,
He's
man,
kicking
but
Skip in the head. He's getting himself sent off. What does he have against us?
Finally got sent off because he finally got sent off against Tottenham, and he scored a winner against Tottenham, and it was Lucas who gave the ball away, and I bet they were celebrating. Lucas was upset, but we love scoring in stoppage time, and that's what we do. 2-1, and our win at the new stadium against them is officially over, and we officially did it. 2-1, and yeah, so massive own goal. So yeah, and people, like you heard Paul said, he's sorry that you had him in your fantasy team because he took a shoot off, and yeah, he thought he scored, but yeah, great assist from Hoiberg was it, or someone else that Kulu got a Romero that gave the ball to Poro. So
yeah,
great win. Yeah, I love the we finally beat the Scousers, and yeah, they've got a few games coming up. They've got Brighton who will slap them, and then City. So Brighton and City are going to absolutely smack them, and they're not. People wanted a City Liverpool title challenge. Do they not know we stopped them winning the league 2 seasons ago? So cry more, Liverpool fans. We should have beaten them at the new stadium 2 seasons ago under Conte, but a 2-2 draw. And where's Robertson doing this? They've done that.
Yeah.
Where's Robertson? Like, yeah, 2-1.
KPV, how excited did the Richarlison moment where he was sort of like, giving it back to Klopp? How excited did that get you?
That got me even more excited. Like, Klopp must be scared of him because every time Klopp faced him, Richarlison always scored, but Klopp must be happy he didn't score this time. But
well, he got the assist though, right? He still broke Klopp's heart.
Yeah, he's always in Klopp's head, and yeah, he still got the assist. But when he goes to Anfield, he always scores against them. But yeah, he loves scoring against Liverpool, but he didn't score this time. But done in April this year, but not the end of September this year. But he still got the assist. And May the 4th, we go to Anfield. So watch us do a demo over there. Another win. And apparently,
That fight wrapped up by then, KPV.
Apparently, I heard we got 3 wins at Anfield, if that's true. Apparently, we have 3 wins there. So 4th incoming. Someone on Twitter said we've won there 3 times, but not in the Premier League, I don't think. But if we have, then 4 wins come in. But yeah, title, we will have the title wrapped up. So we are title contenders. Gary Neville needs to shut up. And Jamie Redknapp said we didn't deserve the win. The next Spurs man who played for
Gary Neville sounded like a Liverpool fan the other night, KPV.
Yeah, Gary Neville, do one, man. Jamie Redknapp, ex-Spurs man, keep your mouth shut. You said we didn't deserve the win. The team you played for scored in a North London derby. So who cares about your kid? You should keep your mouth shut. And
he was never fit anyway. He shouldn't have a comment to say he's never fit for Tottenham.
No, he's never fit for Tottenham, but no one likes him. And Jamie Carragher said we didn't deserve the win. I don't know what he's talking about on Twitter. I thought he still talked crap. And yeah, 2 weird. So 4 red cards. We've only had 2 last season, and yeah, that was Arsenal and City. But no one cares. They've had 4. I think everyone's had red cards in the Prem, but we've only had a few. But this time we haven't had one. We've still not had one yet. So long may it continue. Luton,
we haven't even had a penalty this season. So why are even people saying like we're the lucky ones? We haven't even been given a penalty yet this season, KPV. I mean, we're not even that lucky.
Yeah, we haven't even given one. We gave 2 away, and they were 2-2 draws away at Brentford and one at the field.
Who do you think our penalty taker is?
Well, it was the skipper, England captain, but he's gone to Germany. So looks like it's going to be Son or Landers, maybe. Richie can take a few, but I say, yeah, Sonaldo is on pens because he's scored a few before. So,
does he take them for Korea? I imagine he probably takes them for Korea.
Yeah, he takes them for Korea, I reckon, as well, and free kicks. So Paul can take free kicks, but yeah, long may it continue. We'll have the title wrapped up on the 4th of May at Anfield. So yeah, where those lot who beat Bournemouth won the title at Anfield. So it's our time. We are actually in the title race. We are, and we finally beat Liverpool. That's 2 wins now. And Alisson finally lost the game. And yeah, so Trent and Robbo lost again. I know Alisson's never lost one, but yeah, Van Dijk hasn't. But why was Van Dijk even playing? He shouldn't have been starting. He got sent off against Newcastle. And if you go straight red, you missed 3 games. But no,
didn't they overturn that? No.
No, it was the McAllister one they overturned, but they gave him a 1 game ban. So, but yeah, they must have overturned 2 red cards. If he gets another one this season, maybe against City, then they won't overturn that because they've overturned many red cards. But this time they won't do it. They're not going to overturn Jones' red card because it's not happening. So, Liverpool fans, and I am
KPV. Last question from me, my friend. Who can Ange win Manager of the Month? Can he win it again?
Double. Big Ange is winning it, and
Manager of the Month double.
Yeah, and we are disgusted by the abuse Udogi's received from the rival fans as Liverpool fans because no room. Why is Premier League or everyone not doing something about it? Just suspend their accounts, man. It's peeing us off.
I do think they will, KPV. At least they're trying to do a much better job about cracking down on it once it does happen.
Do something about it because long may it continue. Unbeaten 1. Who can stop us? No. We are title contenders. So Gary Neville, another word for you, mate. Shut your mouth. And you're not going to win the league. And he said he put Arsenal's favourites for the league and United finished 2nd. Well, his word for you, mate. You're getting slapped at Old Trafford again, mate. And then Arsenal going to lose at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So home record will continue. We've got Villa, I believe, sometime before Christmas. So Villa, Emery needs to look out. Longley as well. Everyone, Tottenham are back. and this is under Mourinho. Everyone knows, but I don't
Who's
care.
letting the dogs out this evening, lad?
It was letting the dogs out.
Luton
Well,
Town away. Who's letting them out?
but that Pedro Zorro, as I call him, Pedro Porro, but it's
Nice.
Pedro Zorro, the Spanish Zordon. So, but anyway, everyone, I'll see you all Friday for the next fan show and preview the Luton game. And yeah, so long may it continue. And being one, it's gonna continue. We never stop, and we're not losing a single game. So we're taking 15 points of our next 5 games. And yeah, we're going to win all 5. So Chelsea again slapped again at the new stadium. Like, better look out for us, pal, because you're still getting slapped. So you got lucky tonight, but and it's on Monday night.
Right,
I'm going to the game. I'm going to the game, 6th of November. So
nice.
So
well, I might see you there. I'm humming and hawing myself, KPV. So
yeah,
give me a big come on, you Spurs, though, my man.
Yeah.
End it on a big come on, you Spurs.
We never stop. And as always, come on, you Spurs. In big
Come on, you Spurs.
Big up, KPV.
Nice one, KPV.
I love it. I love to see the smiles. I love it. He's absolutely loving life right now, winning left, right, and center.
I lost track of how many people needed to shut their mouth, though, Dave. You know, he was basically telling every pundit, you know, that they need to stay quiet. I was losing track.
Well, Jack, there's that many people coming out speaking about Tottenham now. There's that many people, you know, coming out and uniting each other, forgetting 20 years or 100 years of history and smooching and kissing each other, you know, and cuddling up to each other and consoling each other. I mean, like I said, I've always said everyone else hates Tottenham. And now that we're on a roll and unbeaten, everyone's starting to see it. Literally everyone. It's great. It's great. They're all exposing themselves. But look, let's keep this moving. Let's get on the last 2 guests of the evening. I believe we're going to go with Tyler next. Am I correct? Just let's double check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go with
There
Tyler. So let's get him on. Let's get on Big T. See what he has to say. Big up, Tyler.
How you guys doing?
Hey, sir.
Good and you?
Doing good. Can't complain. 3 points against Liverpool. I wasn't the best way to do it, but certainly is nice to see all the tears.
Yeah, you can't complain, Tyler. Liverpool's doing all the complaining this weekend. It's not going to be us this time. The question I've been asking everybody is, worst refereeing display you've ever seen? That's what kind of everybody's speaking about, that this is the worst ever Premier League refereeing display. Do you agree with that, Tyler?
As we're talking like an overall display, like multiple horrible decisions, no, it certainly isn't. But that offsides call was, I mean, I was in utter shock. I was like, I didn't know what was happening. Like, how the hell can you make an error that bad? Genuinely. When I saw them go ahead and play on the game, saw check complete, I was just dying laughing because that was shocking.
I was loving it.
I mean, like, these guys get paid so much. Like, how can you make an error that horrible? Like, if that happened to us, like, I would be like breaking. I would be going crazy. I was already upset because, well, actually, no, I wasn't upset at that moment yet. But no, I mean that was horrible. So you do have to feel for them a little bit, but at the end of the day, I mean, it happens to every team. So I don't get why everyone's going all crazy, all berserk right now. Like, it happens all the time. Like, they should be understandable because I'm sure it's happened the other way.
Look, we've had plenty of goals disallowed that I could bring up. I mean, there was one with Harry Kane at Southampton that they disallowed on us. And, you know, this was like 2 years ago. I mean, what? Because he wears a size 12 boot and someone else wears a size 6. It's not Kane's fault. He's got big feet. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. So they can cry all they want. We've had more than enough goals ruled out that should have stood. You know, just because it's them, it's now the end of the world. Just get over it. You know, you win some, you lose some. You know, we're told every weekend after we're sitting here talking about referees, oh, guys, you know, get over it. You can't keep blaming the referees, this, that, and the other. So I'll just usher them same words over to them. Get on with it. Stop rolling the.
And the fact that they expect us to not celebrate 3 points against Liverpool, I mean, like, what? If it happened the opposite way, you'd be more than happy. I mean,
my mate tried this with me. It's a no-go. Celebrate.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. And we do have to be a little bit understandable because at the end of the day, if that had happened to us the opposite way, we would probably be doing the same thing. Let's be honest.
Well, we have done the same thing because it has happened to us.
No,
Isn't that the point, Tyler? That it happens to everybody.
Yeah, but I think
Almost.
everyone just needs to calm down. I mean, whatever. They're gonna bring it up the whole season. We end up getting first place. They're gonna be like, "Oh, there's a star next to it. Oh, they finally won the league or whatever." Oh no, they got a 3 free points. Yeah, blah, blah. Like no, that's not how it works. It's the whole season put together. Everyone needs to calm down. You know, and having it be against Liverpool after that Champions League final, I couldn't be happier for another team to be against.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's what makes it so much sweeter. So much sweeter. Look, they always get the rub of the green. Always get the rub of the green against us. And the one time it doesn't go their way, they want to cancel football. They want investigations. You know, they want to change the rule book. They want to do everything else. Just suck it up. Now you know what it feels like to be a Tottenham fan in the last 3 to 4 years. So eat shit.
Tyler,
We've had to endure so much crap. I don't understand what they're moaning about.
No, I don't either, Dave. Tyler asked KPV earlier, should Ange win the Manager of the Month award again? What do you think?
I mean,
still undefeated.
Yeah, I mean,
North on a derby, got a draw. Liverpool got a win.
I'm not really worried about the manager of the month that much. I think he is doing a phenomenal job though, and I'm just happy where we are in the table right now. If you would have told me this was going to happen, at the start of the season after losing Kane, I would have absolutely laughed and ridiculed you. I would have called you a happy clapper, all this, all that, whatever. Because I with losing Kane, I was very negative going into the season. I thought, at the best we'd get like probably 7th or 8th. So at this point, I couldn't be more happy with Ange. Even if I disagree with some decisions here and there, at the end of the day, we're getting the results, we're getting the points, and he's doing an amazing job.
I don't see how you can't put him forward for manager month. There's only 2 teams that remain unbeaten, Tottenham and Arsenal. So it's got to be Ange Postecoglou or Arteta. Well, I mean, we went to the Emirates and we played,
and we got a better result.
They said they were going to stop it, and they failed. So on that basis, on what I've, surely Ange Postecoglou is shooting again. It has to be. We played 4 of our 7 games away from home. We've played 3 of the big 6. Has to be up there.
Yeah, and Arteta made a couple bad decisions in that game that put him in a worse spot, in a worse situation to go on and get 3 points against us. So I definitely don't think you can give it to him after that.
Who was our player of the month in September, Tyler? Who was our best player if we were to put a player of the month up for contention? Sonny, Madison, Basuma, Van de Ven?
It's got to be either between Sonny and Madison. Either way you look at it, whether it's Madison creating everything or Son putting it away, it's going through most of them. So I don't think you can really say one or the other. I guess Sonny, the goals is goals. He's putting it in the back of the net. So I'd say Sonny probably. But I mean, either way, Madison or Son.
I think Kadoji could be in there. Van de Ven could be in there. Vicario could be in there. There's a lot of honorable mentions as well. It's hard to pick that.
Yeah. But if Ange is winning manager of the month, surely there's a player of the month that then gets up there, right? And thrown in. Not saying that person would win
Probably some with the goals.
And any of them, whether it's Madison gets a second or not, I'll be instantly doing that SBC on FC24. So hopefully we do get it.
Do you have the other Madison card?
No, I didn't get it. The only reason I didn't get it is because I believe he will get more player of the months and or inform or special cards. So I don't want to waste, I don't want to waste my SBC fodder right now on an 84 Madison when he's gonna or whatever it is, and when he's gonna get better cards. So I don't want to waste it just yet.
I've already got it.
Yeah, the 74 pace, throws me off a little bit, and I've got the base Bruno Fernandes. He's a little. He's a little of a jerk off on the pitch, but he's really good in the game. If you want a cheap 20K cam, he's very good.
Okay. All right. Tyler, are we realistic title contenders? How do we compare to the rest of the Premier League right now? How good are we?
Yeah. It's really hard to say right now. Obviously, we're sitting in second, unbeaten. You can't really say we're not as of right now in title contention because technically we are. The main problem is you have to look at our depth, and you have to look at the fact that Perisic got out for the season. I think that losing Perisic was honestly very massive, because him coming off the bench, I mean, he can open up a game with one cross. I mean, we've already seen it this season, and we've seen it last season on set pieces or whatever. I think if we had Perisic coming into that game, we wouldn't have needed a Matip own goal, honestly. I think he probably would have gotten a ball in the box to Valise or Richarlison, and they would have headed it in.
Shows how much that injury could hurt us at certain stages, right? Like in games like that. That's a good point.
And I think having Hill Messi back will be nice, and he can also put in a really good ball, sort of like Perisic, but Perisic has the physicality as well. He has the experience, the mentality. Losing him, that really hurt me, seeing us lose him, because I think he would be massive all season for us off the bench.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you know what? It'd be interesting to see if there's still that clause for him to go to Croatia in January, whether that still pans out that way or not, or whether it's true or not. Look, Perisic is a huge loss. He's one. I think if we had him fit, he's in there against Liverpool, I think we break down that door sooner. To be honest with you, I also think Richarlison benefits a bit more
100%
from having him there as well. But look, Tyler, great call in, my man. I will have a bit of spare time this week, or probably more so next week on the international break. So get practicing, because I'm going to screw you up.
You can try. We'll see what happens. I mean, it is a hard game to master so far. I'm not too good at it yet, but we'll see what happens.
It's a very difficult game. Very difficult. I've nearly broke my controller already. But look, big yourself up, big team, my man. Great to speak to you. Shame we couldn't rejoice in the under-21s today, but we'll have another game.
Don't even get me started. I was so upset we couldn't watch that, and the fact that they made a comeback, ended up winning 4-2. Jamie Donald masterclass. That drove me insane not being able to see that. Yeah, I think they usually put the full highlights up on Spurs Play, don't they? So hopefully they do have that.
Let's hope they do.
Better be up there by the morning. That's what I watch while having breakfast. But Tyler, 100%. Great speaking to you again, my man. Hopefully tennis is going good for you still, and I will speak to you again very soon.
Good call.
Have a good one, guys.
Tyler.
Later, everyone.
See you, Tyler.
Bye-bye. Nice one, sir.
Bye-bye.
When he said mastering FIFA, Dave, is that something that you should be a little afraid of? When he said he can master it, not everybody says things like that.
No, not everyone does say things like that.
Intimidating.
I think he strategically worded it to try and psych me out. Well, look,
kind of intimidating.
Time will tell, Jack. Time will tell. And if he did strategically word it to psych me out, that's good. And I'm going to take lessons from that. That's a good one. I like that, Tyler. But look, let's keep it moving around to the last guest of the evening. We got Ellie, and then after Ellie, your boy's going off for a bowl of his famous Irish stew. So I cannot wait for that. But look, let's get on the one and only Ellie first. Of course, out on holidays, enjoying herself way too much and rubbing it in. But let's get her on and hear what she has to say. Big up, Ellie. How are you?
God. Yeah, I am rubbing it in a bit. But you know what? I've got a bit of a sore throat today, because I was like screaming Kulusevski's name on the yacht today, because Kulusevski gets a raw deal from a lot of our fans, just like my man Højbjerg. So I'm there to protect the unprotected, right? And also a big shout out to our under-21s who came from behind. Yes. They got the last 87 for the 89th minute. So that Ange ball is instilling in these youngsters as well. Come on.
You know what, Ellie? I think I'm so happy. I think I'm going to have to move on to the under-18s now. I think my job is done with the under-21s. Everyone's talking about them now. How great they are. So I think I've done my job there. I'll have to go on to the under-18s.
Yeah, Jamie Donnelly with a brace. He got on the bench, gave him confidence, just breezed through those Chelsea defenders. They couldn't stop him.
Do you know what, Ellie? And look, I think everyone out there that's watched this kid, I think they'll all agree. The reason why there's a lot of noise around him is because he's a proper Postecoglou player. Versatility, work rate out of possession, and that's one thing people don't give Kulu enough credit for. I get that the quality at the final ball of the crossing maybe isn't there right now, but progressive carries, running, out of possession, more distance covered than anybody else. That's a key component to what Ange Postecoglou needs, and I actually think that's why Jamie Donnelly, aka the Dominator, he has absolutely a massive chance of being able to step up next year and be one of them players in that squad. I really do believe it. He's absolutely quality. I need to see what celebrations he went with, actually. You know, I need to see, did he do the aeroplane again, or has he done something different for me? But he's absolutely quality. But Ellie, your guy Højbjerg, I don't see many people talking about. In my opinion, I think he changed the game a little bit for Tottenham near the end of that game. He got on the ball and he sped up the quality of passing, got it forward quick.
Do you know what? Everybody's saying that he can't play handball. That's a load of poo, right? He can, right? It's a load of poo, right? I'm actually in the toilet now because Theos is snoring in the other room. So basically, Højbjerg, right? He's a very methodical player. He thinks, but now he's thinking like handball, right? Because you can see it instantly. He's not holding the ball, he's passing it, right? So he's adapting his game to suit handball, right? So like Porro, they said he couldn't defend, right? Look what he did against Liverpool, right? So there's comparisons all around the pitch. Every player can adapt. Every player can learn. Do you think Højbjerg is not intelligent enough to pass the ball quickly? Of course he is. All right, so he can adapt his game. I don't buy into this theory that he can't.
I don't even think it's just that. I'm not sure whether it was you, Jack, or whether it was Johnny Maddox. But one of you has made the point. It could have been you the other day, Jack, or Johnny Maddox today. But one of you has made the point about Højbjerg coming off and actually doing what Ange, carrying out the instructions that he was asked to do, compared to maybe other players that came on the pitch. Like Ben Davies, I thought at one stage, I was like, honestly, do you want Moses to part the Red Sea again for you to be able to pass that ball forward? Skip, lost the ball.
Solomon
Jack,
didn't put in enough crosses. Solomon, you could say, didn't put enough crosses, whereas Højbjerg was moving the ball quickly, spreading play, moving it to the wide areas like he was supposed to. And other players that came on, you wouldn't say exactly made a huge impact.
I agree with that. But not only that, there's other players who have adapted their game, because Kulu, he gets called out because he doesn't move the ball quickly like the other players, right? But he's a very intelligent boy. He's a very intelligent, cultured player, and it's nice having him in the team to hold the ball for us, because part of possession, if you've got the ball, then they can't score against you, and he's the best in our team at holding that ball and not losing it, 100%, right? So I give him props. All right. Other people might see him as, he checks back and he doesn't go for the byline. But he's a foreign player. Foreign players are not taught to go to the byline. They're taught to cut back. Like, I don't know if you remember, boys, when Ozzy Ardiles came to Spurs, right? And we were playing Man United, and everybody was expecting him to go to the byline in the FA Cup against Man United. He cut back and he curled one in. Right, that's what Kulu can do. He's just got to get his shooting right. When he gets his shooting boots on, like when he scored 5 and he assisted 7, right? That wasn't a fluke. He can find that form again. And remember, he picked up an injury, right, which was quite a bad injury. So he's finding his way again. When he hits top form, I think all the noise around Kulu being crap and he holds the ball. He doesn't hold the ball up like I see him hold the ball up, or he loses the ball, or he checks back. That will die down, because I looked at his stats, and there was a few people saying, why didn't we buy Pedro Neto? I compared his stats to all those doubters, right? And Kulu wins in every single stat.
Nice.
Every single one.
I like Pedro Neto too, Ellie, so that's actually impressive.
Everything. And he's done it in half the games as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Because Neto's 98 goals, 98 games, 10 goals. Kulu, 55 games, 9 goals. See, people just see what they want to see. Stats don't lie, right? I don't always go by stats, boys. I know I'm not like one of these people who are steadfast on stats. But when you want to prove a point, right? How many goal contributions, how many forward passes, how how you keep the ball. That stats don't lie then, you know.
Yeah.
So the eye test is good as well, because when I watch Kulu, I love the way he holds the ball. I love it. He never hardly loses it, and when he does, he battles for it back, and he helps Porro as well when he's double banking, you know. So
works so hard too, Ellie. He's probably one of the hardest workers in the
football. Team. Yeah. What was that, Jack?
I was going to say he's one of the hardest workers in the team this season by a lot of the numbers as well, right? And do you think maybe he should be given more credit for that? Because that's also the bare minimum that fans ask for, is for the guy to work hard, run after the ball, you know, chase things down. He's doing that better than anybody in the team.
Definitely, right. So I don't buy into all this rubbish that he's not a good player and he can't play handball. There's different forms of handball. Ange has already said it himself. It's not all about moving the ball quickly. It's about playing intelligently and using the ball well, and he does. All right, sometimes I get a little bit frustrated at him as well sometimes, because I think he can do a little bit more, like when he first came, right? But sometimes that's a confidence issue, and also he must hear the fans getting on his back sometimes, especially when we play at home, right? So Kulu will produce. I'm 100% sure that he'll produce for us and make a lot of goals for us and score a few goals too. Yeah.
Look, the thing is, let's be brutally honest about the situation. The main link-up player is Son Madison. Outside of that, barely anybody else has an assist, right? The thing is, it's not just Kulu, but Kulu has 2 goals to his name. But the thing is, what we need to understand is our front three hasn't clicked yet. Our goals is Son Madison, but our front three still hasn't clicked yet. That left side is still up for grabs. Granted, Kulu is nailed down the right side, but you know, in order for him to bag assists, he also needs people to put the ball in the back of the net for him. And, you know, once that front three properly clicks, I think you will see his sort of stats go up. Now, look, I'm not excusing some of the crosses he puts in. Some of them are overhit, some of them are underhit. And that's where I become very, very sort of frustrated with him. But that's just a minor tweak that, you know, he'll change and he'll go on to be a very good player. You look at you look at the way he carries the ball to drive the team up the pitch. You look at this close ball control he has with his feet to skin players on the outside or the inside. Like people say to me, Kulu's too predictable. Okay, what do you mean by that? And they say, well, he cuts inside all the time. Okay, but they still can't stop him from doing it. So that's a sign of a good player, right? If they know what he wants to do and they can't stop him, what does that tell you? You know, all it is just that it will start clicking for him, and once it clicks, you watch him flourish.
And also, you always put a level on a player, how many players mark him. You see Liverpool, they put 3 players on him quite often. 3 players. That's how much respect they place to Kulu. They don't do that to any other player in our team. All right. But I am one of these people that think that he would be better deployed as an attacking midfielder, because when you're in midfield, you've got more time to think. When you're on the wing,
don't worry about that.
You really are marked more on the wing. I think, especially if you're like Kulu, who can create. You know, they smell that danger, especially Liverpool. They've been doing their research on this boy, and they know that he can hurt them. So, all right, he didn't have a magical game against Liverpool, but he did what he needed to do to get us over the line.
One of our most effective players against Liverpool.
Yeah.
But Ellie,
and I heard a lot of people saying, Porro put in 1 cross, and it wasn't a particularly good cross, really, when you think about it. But it led to a goal because Matip, you know, unfortunately.
Do you know what, Ellie? Porro can't win whether he does or doesn't, because he was criticised last week for not getting that cross in.
If Kulu put that cross in and it ended up at nothing,
I mean,
people
honestly,
would be blaming him, wouldn't they?
Honestly, there's only some, you know, one group of people in the world that I know that's lucky, and that's Irish people. You know, that's why they call it the luck of the Irish. You know, but apart from that, it's not. Look, I just don't understand it. You criticise the guy for not being able to do it against Arsenal, and then when he does do it, it's lucky. I mean, I don't know. But Ellie, where can people find you? What's going on over here between you
you're
two?
on Kate's tomorrow, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm on Kate's tomorrow. I'm having a full body massage tomorrow before I go on to Kate's. So I'll be
I tell you, you go on Kate's, I'll take the massage.
Right, I've got quite a lot of mosquito bites on me because my daughter left with the spray and I forgot to buy my own one. Right, so like, do you know what? We went and bit Liverpool in the arse like they did against us last season. That's one thing I wanted to get in before I say where you can find me. Right, that Yotta, he got karma, right? Because he kicked our Skippy in the head and he never got sent off. And then he goes and gets the winner. And I loved Richarlison doing his pigeon in front of Klopp. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I love it. And today I saw quite a few pigeons in Ayia Napa where I went for the yacht trip. Yeah, and I was thinking of Richarlison because he's had a raw deal as well, hasn't he? Right, and some of it fairly, you know, because he hasn't been producing. But lately, in the last couple of games,
he's been all right.
He's shown up, and he's worked his bloody socks off because he knows that he hasn't played well, right? We don't have to tell him. The manager doesn't have to tell him. He knows it himself, all right? But he started to pick up now, which I'm really happy for him, right? But where you can find me, obviously with Kate on Just the Girl Loves Spurs, brilliant channel. Everybody support Kate because she's fantastic. What a show, you know, very funny. When I'm on the show as well, I had a little bit of spice, So, and then on Sav's show on Tuesdays, So, that's tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So it'll be 12 o'clock Cyprus time. So I'm on that one. And elsewhere, I'm normally go on Colin Talk on Ball because I like that show. I love Colin. He's he's the ginger from USA, not the ginger from Sweden. I don't know if you saw the video I sent you, Dave and Jack.
I did.
Me singing, give me. I had to sing it quite low because there's a lot of people there, and I couldn't shout it out.
Do you know what? It cheered me up because I was in the middle of pulling my hair out trying to do graphics. So it came at the right time. I really do appreciate it. But Ellie, better let you go.
I've got my Australia hat on. You see? This is my Australia hat because I bought it for Ange Postecoglou. And just one more thing, right? You know your Doji, right? He's got God in his name if you reverse it. And then we've got Ange Postecoglou, who's an angel. So we've got the angels and the gods on our side.
Yes, we do, Ellie. That's a good sign indeed. Pigeons and angels. Pigeons and angels.
We can go all the way, right? We can go all the way. I'm not getting carried away, but we can go all the way if we carry on the trajectory what we're on now, you know, and we don't falter. All right, if we lose a few players here and there, it might be more difficult. But the players coming in, don't lose faith with them. Right, because Skippy is a homegrown player. Højbjerg will come on and do a job for you, and there's other players who are going to contribute. So, you know, we mustn't think that we haven't got a chance if the key players go down. It's going to be harder, but they're not going to be out forever, are they? They're always going to come back. And then we've got Bentancur coming back as well. Remember, don't forget that. And he is a fantastic footballer. So come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
You go and get your dinner, Dave, because I know you're hungry.
I will. I've got stew in the pot. I cannot wait to devour it.
Irish
Honestly,
stew.
I might sit in there with it and eat it. Who knows? But big up, Ellie. Really appreciate your.
And I had an Irish Guinness today. So
there
you go.
Very good.
I have to keep my Irish roots. Make sure that I don't lose my citizenship.
Exactly. Ellie, great call as always. Absolutely.
Good night, Ellie.
Take care, lads.
Again very soon.
Good night, dear.
Stay cool. And stay Spurs.
Thank you.
Come on, you Spurs.
See you, Ellie. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. Bye-bye. Lucky woman, you know, the holiday she's on looks absolutely brilliant. Great call in.
Yeah, she deserves it.
Ellie, but look, that is it from your boys. And we're going to call it an evening there. We will be back tomorrow with some sort of stuff, or, well, we'll see what's out there to do. But you know us, we've always got something cooking in the background. So just stay tuned on the channel tomorrow. And look, I'm off to have some good old Irish stew. Jack's off to the bodega to get you know, a
Yeah.
beer. I think they've got a special
Wrong
on
day.
Liverpool tiers, right, Jack?
No special on Liverpool tiers. Going to drink them all in. Going to try my best. Thank you to everybody who stuck through it throughout the whole fan show here. So many that also came on and had their say, which we're really happy with. Really love chatting to so many of you. Thank you as well to Tala. I apologize. I feel like we didn't actually get this one up there. I apologize, but member for exactly a year and a half. It's been so much fun. Tala, next time I see you in the chat, I'll remind myself to to thank you as well. But big up to you. Thank you to Faz Radfar, Moondog, Jim, the regular, Keith Edwards, Dark Sun G, of course, as well as KPV, absolute legend KPV, celebrating that milestone. We also have I think it was THFC Till I Die. Thank you for supporting the channel in an extra way with the donations and just sort of getting your opinions across, through the chat. But really do appreciate all of you for tuning in today. Always do enjoy these fan shows. Disappointed Dave couldn't do his under 21 watch along. We're going to find a way to maybe get him on it next time. And, we're going to hopefully see Spurs get a good earful from Dave-O. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there tonight, everybody. Come on, you Spurs. In the big Ange, we trust.
We
never
stop. And Tala, we'll bring your comment up on the next show. Let's have a good discussion, my friend. Top man. Everyone, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.